Okay, man. Looks like we are live, doing it for real.
Hello, hello.
What's up, everybody? This is cool. Thanks for being willing to do this live. Like, someone had mentioned in like my Discord server, like, dude, you should do something with LiveOverflow again. And like, yeah, I mean, if you'd be willing to do it, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. I'm excited.
I was telling in the chat just a little bit ago, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, how are we gonna entertain ourselves or everyone? Or
Yeah, so we don't really have really prepared much, so we hope that, there will be some questions, and I have a lot of tons of questions for John as well. So,
this is cool.
but
Should be
I
fun.
guess we announced that we start like at 7. Maybe let's wait a minute, and then we can
Am
like
I ahead
probably
on
start with
time?
some content.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, maybe it's 7 now, I guess.
It's so hard. I gotta. Oh, there's already a question. How much were you surprised to find out Live Overflow has a face? Well, you've shared your face before. Like, it's not a secret.
Yeah, it's like one of these things I know that, okay, this is a normal person asking the question. This
Yeah.
is like not somebody who's obsessed with my videos. There are a handful of videos where you can either, see my talk with me on it, or just like for a second you see my face or something. So yeah, if they ask this question, I know that they are not obsessive. So that's
Right.
always a good
Yeah.
sign.
I know it's been on the talk, and that was a cool talk. How did you get set up with that, if I may ask?
Like with the talk in general, like,
Yeah, or
uh,
just like that conference, and like, did you just like a CFP submission thing, just straight up, hey, this is what I want to do. Are you guys willing to take me?
no, like in that particular one, it was actually the organizer reaching out to me. The organizer from that
Nice.
conference used to work at the, like, it's a little bit connected to the university there. So he was a professor and used my videos in some classes and asked me if I want to come do a talk. Now, like, I'm not very confident giving talks, and especially not as LiveOverflow, because then I'm scared that the expectations are higher.
Yeah.
And so I'm, because like talks make me very nervous and stressed, and but so usually I decline them, but for this particular one, I don't know, like it was somewhere in a different country, it was like a small conference, so I felt more comfortable like agreeing to that, and then I just said yes, and then it was too late. Yeah,
Wow. I mean, that's
so that's
cool.
part of it.
Like,
Yeah.
I've had to do, or I've wanted to do a couple like CFP submissions or just do a talk, and I've done a few over at B-Sides. Are there B-Sides like conferences over in Germany or where you're at?
Um, I don't think we have like the typical B-sides, like how you have like the B-sides culture or whatever, the a lot of different B-sides in the US. I don't think we really have that in Germany. However, that there is what, like, a B-sides inspired conference, and maybe there, I don't think that we really have B-sides here.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen
Uh,
them
but
in Greece or Israel, or like I know there are some
yeah,
far
yeah,
outreaching ones.
right. So have you been speaking at B-sides?
Yeah, I did one in Connecticut, here in the U.S., and another one in Delaware. I went to B-Sides DC, and I wanted to
Yeah.
get a talk into there. I'm going to ShmooCon. I don't know if you know that one because that's again like way on the other side of the pond. But
Yeah.
ShmooCon is coming up on the 19th, and I wanted to submit something, but I didn't, and I'm kicking myself for it. It would be cool.
Yeah. ShmooCon, I think I hear a lot of good things about. I think is that the conference that everybody is super hyped on and never gets tickets for or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, that's the one. That has kind of really illustrious ticket process because they'll sell out in like seconds, and like it's a bragging point for
Mm.
them. Like, oh, this round of tickets sold out in 3 seconds, 3.7 or something.
Yeah, I guess similar experience to the C3 conference in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you talk about? Like a big issue for me, for example, why I don't agree, or like why a big reason for me why I don't do a lot of talks is I don't feel like I have anything to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of definitely felt that. Like I want to do something super cool and big, heavy, security, in-depth, advanced stuff to like show something cool to the people, but it's hard. Uh, so my talk that I've done was 10 steps to build and lead a competitive cybersecurity or CTF team. So kind of similar in the sense of Tyler Nicewander's talk. I don't know if you've seen that, like on Usenix or something. For he's the Plaid Parliament opponent guy, one of them.
Okay.
Um, but no, kind of high level in nature. I'm just talking about like what I have done and trying to teach other people and get people in the CTF scene. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, always spread the word about CTF. That's good.
yeah, it's weird though when like some people will come and talk to you afterwards, or like they'll genuinely ask you questions. You're like, I don't know. I'm not really an authority. I'm just a dude.
Yeah, that's also my response usually.
Yeah.
And so, do you like giving talks? Like you said, you wanna do more, and you kick your butt like with not
Yeah.
handing into Schwukon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is cool. I'll throw a little segue for Joshua Fluke, right? Because I just did a video with him, and
Oh, awesome.
I'm trying to
I
like
didn't see.
hang
Is it
out.
public?
Not yet. He should release it
Ah,
today,
okay.
and then I think we're gonna do some a little bit more because we want to keep that community growing.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds good. That's great.
but he's big on like building your brand and like having your own personal self notoriety, and I totally feel that. And I think, hey, if I have to travel the world by just going to different security conferences, that would be awesome. Why not?
Yeah, I totally get you, and it's like one of the things where I feel like I should do that, and I I feel the pressure of that I should do that, but I don't like doing that, so I'm like very torn with these things. The same
Yeah.
thing with like these live streams. I mentioned to you before the stream, or also in like the past times when we talked or so, that I'm generally uncomfortable with doing that stuff. But it's just like, now you gotta weigh. It's just you kind of should do it versus you're not really comfortable doing it. So that's also why I did that one talk I have on my channel, right? It's like I don't like doing talks. It's like super stressful for me, and it's like always a terrible experience for myself in general. But I felt like I should do it. I should have a talk as LiveOverflow somewhere, and there are things I do want to talk about, right? That's why I also do YouTube videos. There are things I want to share. So I feel the pressure that I should do it. And in some way, I want to do it for that reason as well. I think it's a good thing, but then at the same time, it's like this terrible experience for me. So that's my struggle a little bit.
Yeah, stage fright and anxiety are very real, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like trying to catch all of the questions that are coming through.
I also try to keep a look at the
Yeah.
chat.
I'm trying to build out a list as we're going through.
Oh, that's very professional of you.
No.
You can tell that I'm already also a stream professional, that I'm able to keep track of the chat and as well as keep talking. Yeah.
B-sides in Germany is a thing. There's B-sides Munich. It's just less popular. Okay.
Okay.
Shows how much we know.
Yeah.
Live and I said before we were going to go on stream, we would do our best to not embarrass ourselves, but I know it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, I don't mind necessarily to embarrass myself. It's not,
yeah. There are a couple ones that I see flying by. Are you willing to speak in Dutch for us, or speak in German or anything?
Yeah, Dutch is a different language.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I don't. Like the context switch in my brain is really hard. I mentioned it a couple of times already that usually my day to day I speak only English. My girlfriend is American. Obviously, YouTube, everything is English. Everything I do is English.
Right.
Except like maybe at the store a hello. So switching to German is always like a big thing. What do I say in German? Let me
say please
let
subscribe.
me advertise. Oh yeah. Okay, wait. I say that and yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh,
subscribe.
It's really awkward. Yeah, the problem is we use the same English terms for that. Like we would in German also just say like and subscribe. Okay. Geht zu John Hammond und abonniert seinen Kanal und gebt einen Daumen hoch. There you go. That's a German
version. I feel special. Like those are some butterflies right now, man.
Did it sound aggressive?
Was it an angry German? Yeah. I know you told me you have a lot of questions for my side over in the U.S., but I totally wouldn't know anything. I'm not cultured, or I'm an ignorant kid.
Well, I guess a little bit, security related topic is for me, like, I actually don't know how you got. First of all, there are two things I'm interested in. You can
Yeah.
start with, Jenny. How did you kind of get your first feet wet with security? How did you get exposed to? Why did it motivate you to learn that stuff? And the second thing, obviously, I would also be interested what motivated you to, create videos about it as well. Yeah.
Um,
Is there a quick summary for that, or is that?
yeah. Actually, no. There's a long story. Are you cool with that?
I got time.
20-second answer? No. So before I got into high school, I did a little bit of programming because like I wanted. It's funny. Like when you're a kid, you Google how to be a hacker, or like you want to do that. You want to be a hacker because it sounds cool, and the movies do that whatever cheese they pour on it. Um,
Same for me.
yeah,
Did the
yeah.
same thing.
So I remember googling that, and I remember finding like Eric S. Raymond and Richard Stallman and everything for like the origin of Linux. So I fell into Linux, and they said like you have to learn to program. Like you need real hacking means programming, right? It's not the malicious crap. So I looked up how to learn Python because I think that was the recommended one from Eric S. Raymond or something. And I found like the new Boston videos, and I literally just did YouTube. I literally like was wanted to self-teach myself that programming stuff, and that was through middle school, high school kind of stuff. When I got into college and I went through a military school, um, then they had a competition my first year called Cyber Stakes that was put on by the Plaid Parliament opponent guys. So they're, I think, For All Secure is kind of the side company or whatever that they do with it. But they were hosting the competition for all the branches of the U.S. military and their training, all like academy stuff. So I found that and fell in love with it because I was like, oh, I can program, I can do stuff on a keyboard. Why not try it? And then I kind of exposed myself to the real break stuff, the real security aspect to it, vulnerabilities, exploits, attacks, and then it got real. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I also like searched online, tried to learn how to learn hacking and stuff. But there's also a bit difficult because, of course, when I was young, I only spoke German. So you search for these, try to find these things in German, and then you find like I remember finding these very. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have this very old hacking. What's it called? A community, the Chaos Computer Club in Germany,
Oh
which is
yeah,
like, yeah, decades old, and that is an amazing
that's
what's the
C3,
English term
right?
for that?
That's 3.5 C3.
That's the annual
Yeah.
conference, exactly. And so they are organized in small chapters in different cities and stuff like this. And I remember that I found like this, what how to be a real hacker or something, and it had like this list of like learning Linux, and like these stereotypical lists of how to be a real hacker kind of thing. And but that was so meaningless to me, like that was not really advice I could really do anything with. I remember like trying to use Linux, like I got like a Knoppix CD, like from a magazine. You sent in like your address and you get this Knoppix. I remember stuff like this, but I never really could get started. And then at some point, I heard about SQL injections and PHP, and I was doing like
Nice.
web development. So that was, I think, my first like security kind of thing. And then I got kind of more interested and realized that these war games exist after seeing like one of those CTFs or war games organized by Stripe was my first one, and yeah, and that hooked me, and then I got started with that, and then tried to do like the Protostar series that I've also done videos on my channel. That's one I did then a lot, and IO Smash the Stack, and that's then how I got really started. Yeah, and from there on it just continued. Yeah,
Yeah. I am
yeah, and then.
always in awe, like of you, because it feels like you're certainly much more deeper than I am with the binary exploitation and reverse engineering and like the real stuff. I always see you as more of a. I feel like you're a stronger security professional, like because you do it. I know, like your day job, right? You're a researcher.
Yeah, so it's my day job. Well, I don't think that I'm actually that experienced when it comes to binary exploitation. I think like
Okay.
an unfortunate thing that happens with my channel and when I do these videos is that people assume that I'm just like super smooth and easy with all that stuff. But um, like my channel exists already for 3 years. So 3 years ago, I did, started with the binary exploitation playlist, and that's when I knew basics about exploitation. And throughout like learning uh, like having that channel, I even like learned more, right? That's 3 years of learning more about security. So of course that is accumulated stuff over these 3 years. And before that, we were also obviously, I don't know, 2 or 3 years before that, where I kind of started to learn that stuff. So it's just about time. And then it creates this wrong impression that, you know, I, like the videos today somehow should resemble me also 3 years ago, but that's not true. I'm still constantly like learning more stuff. And yeah, so maybe I have a bit more years experience, but you know, you are also pretty strong with security, or and evidently on your channel, of course. And so, you know, yeah, I guess maybe I have a bit more practice, but that's just, you know, maybe I started a couple of years before you.
Yeah, it's funny because whenever I kind of listen to other people that are in the position where they can talk about this, and a lot of people will listen, they do talk about like imposter syndrome, and that like feeling like, man, I don't know anything. I always compare myself to the other guy, but you gotta just either power through it and say like, no, I have a spot in this community, whether it's good or bad. Like I want to contribute, and this is what I'm going to contribute. So I think that's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't, for example, think that I have imposter syndrome. I think that I'm like I like to say that I'm a noob and stuff like this, but that's because yes, I compare myself to, you know, all these researchers that know stuff I don't know. And some people always, or right, I shouldn't have like this imposter syndrome, or shouldn't say that I'm a noob or something like this, but relative to those, I am. But that's for me not a problem. Like the problem with imposter syndrome is that you put yourself down through that, but actually for me that is really motivating. And you know, if you ask me honestly and objectively in terms of like where do I place myself in the professional workforce or something like this, I'm very confident that my experience and knowledge is above average, and that I have no problem finding a job, and that I have, you know, valuable experience that is useful for a company to hire and stuff like this. Like I'm pretty confident about that. I don't worry about these things. However, for my own drive to not like stay stuck, or not stuck, but you know, uh, to be able to progress further, I always like to compare myself to the theoretical ideal, and or the theoretical perfect hacker or something like that. And that's like the unattainable goal I'm striving towards, and that's always like pushing me. And you know, like this talking myself down a bit is kind of a way for me to always stay like realistic. Like I'm not on top of the world. There's far away from that, and I shouldn't be arrogant about that, and I
Right.
should acknowledge that, you know, I'm not perfect, um, but that's the goal I'm striving towards.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I feel like we're in a similar spot, and I that's incredible in my mind because you've told me before, like once your channel exploded, you know, like then you kind of felt like weird. Suddenly, I'm an authority figure, but you felt like no, I'm not. Like, not no, my research, my work never got any better. The videos didn't improve their quality. Like I've heard you say, I just feel like I'm lucky. Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, okay, so with the YouTube channel, I'm like you said, is my my channel is now very successful, and I didn't do anything special to make that successful. Like the I the same you know, heart and time and energy I put into these videos is the same I did when, you know, I had 10 people or 100 people watching my videos. um sure, the quality improved just because, you know, you skill, like your how to use the tools for editing get better. Of course the quality increases a bit like that, but it doesn't warrant an explosion of 100 times better or 1,000 times better compared to when I got started. So, you know, it makes no sense. um but what it does do is it puts a weird kind of pressure now on myself. Like I'm way more worried about the videos that I put out, and I'm way more scared that they don't live up to expectations. And that's something, you know, that just happened now, like, you know, a
Yeah.
month ago. So I'm still like thinking that's like current me, like current YouTuber Live Overflow me stuff. I'm a bit, you know, I don't know, thinking about a lot, because I don't like having feeling that pressure. I should not care, you know, because nothing changed actually. But now I worry a bit about that.
I think one question you had asked earlier, and I guess we either accidentally steamrolled, but you had asked me what made you start YouTube, and I think that kind of correlates now to what we're doing. So, what Do you want me to tackle it first, then you got it next? Is that
Yeah,
cool?
sure.
Sweet,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
What made me start YouTube? My videos are old. Like, if you look back, I think I have stuff in like 2011, and a lot of them are crap because, like, at that point, I was just a stupid high schooler, and now I still am just a stupid not high schooler. um, but I remember because I learned stuff from like the New Boston and Metal X 1000 and other YouTubers, and I just thought like, well, I want to do the same thing. Like, I want to be able to showcase either what I'm doing or how I'm learning. Because when they get real and when they talk about it, they're the same way. That I learned something and then I wanted to show other people what I did with it, just so they learn too, so more people learn. And why not? That sounds awesome. That sounds like you're contributing. How about you?
I'm sorry, I was not sure if you got distracted and
Yeah, I'm
wanted to
sorry. I'm trying to
continue
still
also.
check out the chat over there.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I was kind of that I was at a point where I did these war games challenges, these buffer overflows, and
Yeah.
I think kind of like I kind of understood like return oriented programming at some point. And I felt like why the fuck did it take me can I say fuck on your channel?
Uh, Not a lot, but absolutely.
Okay, sorry. Uh uh I don't know. So I was at a point where like I struggled really with these war games, the binary exploitation stuff, and learned ROP at some point. And after I realized how simple ROP is, I thought, how can nobody explain this easily? Like, why does it have to be so painful? This whole experience to learn it. Like that was one thing I remember. And then the second thing was I felt like I was running against the wall. I just couldn't continue. And I felt like I just needed some professional to just look over the shoulder for like an hour, or a person to just guide me and mentor me or something. And I felt like I need that to continue or something because I couldn't find the resources I wanted online. And that really frustrated me. And then I discovered GeoHot live streaming
Yeah.
CTFs, and that just blew my mind, seeing how he works, how he uses Python, how he's setting up like GDB, just like simple, like just practical
Hmm.
things, like how do you start the binary in GDB, how do you exactly do uh, set up your Python exploit script, like just like small issues, like the topic itself is clear, you overflow buffer, there's a return point and stuff, but these practical problems of not being able to use the tools properly will hold you back so much. And seeing how he used that, that's just, yeah. And I wanted more of that. And then I thought also stuff is a lot crappy explained. I thought I could do that, explain that better.
Hmm.
And I wanted more videos like that, but nobody was like really. There were a couple of people live streaming, but nobody was really like putting out more content, anything. And so I thought, okay, if I don't get to see the videos, maybe I can make some videos to help people to learn this binary exploitation, like learn return oriented programming in a proper, easy way, and not this mess that I had to go through. That was kind of the motivation. Now, 3 years later, I still haven't gotten to Rob on my channel. So, uh, again, yeah, that's like one of the things I'm a bit annoyed about.
I
But
saw I
yeah,
saw a question fly by that like, can you explain Rob?
yeah. I actually started making finally that video from the binary exploitation playlist of explaining Rob. And I have like a weird way to explain it, and it's gonna be really weird, and maybe it's confusing even more people. But I want to try a different way of explaining it. Maybe it will help. We will see.
Cool.
I don't have because I see the question. I don't have a video explaining Rob because I never got to that point. Like the binary exploitation, I thought, damn, the stuff is so simple. I could make a couple of videos and get everybody from zero to return-oriented
But
programming in no time.
there is so much background.
Yeah, and then yeah, exactly. There's so much stuff you want to explain on the sides, and then also, making the videos itself just takes a lot of time. And I realized that, okay, making these videos is maybe a bit more time, and then I did other videos, and then it just took, now we are here.
Yeah, I've heard someone say that having a lot of different projects going at the same time is good because then you can bounce back and forth between the things that you want to work at in the moment. But I have found that I feel like I'm just setting my hair on fire when I do that. I have like too much stuff that I want to do and then I just don't do anything because of it.
Yeah, that's interesting because so I have like in parallel multiple projects right now, and
Hmm.
I'm so like I have so much energy, motivated. Like I mentioned it before that I basically had no break in 2018. Like I
Yeah.
worked on YouTube videos or I worked on my regular work. And so like right now, my biggest problem is I don't have time. Every free time basically goes, okay, sometimes I procrastinate as well, but in general, I spend everything on that, and I have a kind of a big backlog already with videos. I have like 10 to 15 unreleased videos prepared, and I'm like try to make currently a bit more videos. And yeah, I don't know, I'm really motivated right now, but I can't continue this, so I need to figure out what to do in 2019 because it's it's not so good right now.
I keep so many people are saying like, oh, get on that 2019 bandwagon, make 2019 your best year yet. And it's like, oh goodness.
Yeah. Oh man.
What else?
Yeah.
Did you have a couple others that you were thinking for me?
Sorry, I got also distracted with the question here. Do you think it's particularly hilarious that it's taken you 3 years to get a video you originally wanted to make? Yeah, it's like one of these things that I've always kept in the back of my head. That's like one of these original, like very early,
Oh,
like before I
books.
made my first video, a Rob video was like one of my biggest goals I wanted to make. And then it took me like 3 years now to get to that. And until I release it, because I only made the first part of it and need to make a second part, it will be quite a while out when I release it. Yeah, so I don't know.
Cool.
Somebody's asking if LiveOverflow is streaming as well.
No, that says Staramigan.
What?
I have
Yes.
no.
No, I don't have Staramigan. Is that the new Ligma? Yeah. I do some streaming on Twitch, but only web development. Yeah, that's why it's not on LiveOverflow channel. Oh, and somebody else earlier asked if I would also consider streaming like channel challenges live. Maybe I could mention there again. Sorry if that's repeating for a couple of people. My name
Sweet.
is LiveOverflow because I started with live streaming. I was inspired by GeoHot doing live stream CTFs, and so I
Oh,
started with live streaming the Protostar challenges.
wow. I don't
Yeah,
think
and
I
so
knew that.
they are still like I still have recordings from the time, but they are terrible because like again my videos make a give a wrong look of how like what my skill level is or something like this, because I'm like super super slow. Like these videos look smooth, like I said I would just solve them right away, but when I actually work on these things, I'm very very slow compared to like my teammates and comparing to other teams.
Yeah.
I'm very inefficient, and I know that just from experience. I turn a lot in circles, and this kind of clear thought patterns that I portray in the videos are not really my reality. Anyway, so the streams were kind of like really terrible, and at the same time reading a bit the chat, getting distracted, it was not good. And then at some point I tried to record me solving CTFs because you can't live stream an
Hmm.
ongoing CTF. So I recorded that and published that later, but it was equally terrible and boring. It didn't even solve stuff, so
Yeah.
you had like 6 hours of me staring at a challenge and not solving anything. Sorry. And then I decided to maybe I make single videos, and that's then when I started to make the binary exploitation series. That's when I started with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were 2 points I wanted to chime in. What you were saying, because I totally was feeling that just the other day. Like when I was doing Hack the Box, trying to solve like Waldo or one of their like active pen testing machines, and it was like a 2.5 hour stream, and there are people in the chat like screaming like, "This is what you have to do," or like, How did you overlook this?" And it's totally a wow. When you put yourself on camera, you lose all of your all of your intellect, and it just falls apart. Um, so when
Yeah.
I am recording like a CTF challenge, because I had done that kind of thing where like, okay, I'll walk through how to solve this, and it's normally a simple challenge or something that doesn't take too long, or if it's a longer video, it will like obviously last longer. But I'll try and make sure that I solve it first and totally know how to do it, and then can compartmentalize how to teach it and stuff like that. And what you had mentioned earlier when you tried to record yourself like going cold at a competition and you have 6 hours of footage where you're just staring at the screen. Something that I tried like just recently with the Christmas CTF. I took like a highlights video or like whenever I got a flag or something stupid like that, and there was a crazy dumb reaction. I think that went over well, and I think that's an interesting solution. Uh,
Mm.
it seemed like people liked for that video the Christmas CTF highlights.
Yeah,
But
back then I also had this idea of creating like a software specifically made for CTFs, for CTF recordings, where because there are a lot of times where you just really stare on the screen.
yeah,
And I was thinking you could maybe fiddle with some algorithms to automatically detect these times where nothing happens. Or,
just
for example,
sweet.
I frantically tap between screens. You know, it's just there's no information
Looks
there.
pretty
You know,
epileptic. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and you are not saying anything and you're just and so I was thinking maybe somebody could write like a software that automatically cuts down these CTF streams to cut out all these parts. That was like 2015 or so, like my idea that I wanted to try out, but then I never really did that. But maybe something like this could also be a solution to that problem to make it more digestible. Yeah. There's a question: do you still do bug bounty on big firms or something like that? So I actually have never really done bug bounty. Have you done? Have you tried or
I
have
have
done any?
wanted to get in the scene, um, but I think HackerOne has really been the closest thing that I wanted to try and reach out to, because it sounds awesome. Like it sounds ideal. It sounds like you're hanging out with people that want to fix things, that are interested in trying to find problems, and then you get a little bit of like income and revenue from it. But I just haven't yet. Time and
Mm,
life gets in the way.
yeah, yeah. For me, it's yeah, I have some things I don't like about bug bounty industry, but that's a different kind of topic. And I have a lot of friends that do bug bounties, and they are very successful in it. But I myself, I don't know. I, I, so in a parallel universe, if I hadn't had a job already, I would probably also do this because I think it's the most awesome thing to do. You can really practice professional work. You have a clear scope. Really define what you are allowed to do, which is very important for if you get a job in that area. So you need to understand this. You need to understand that client's website and what this product is really is about, and then you analyze it, and then you write a proper report, and you, in a professional way, respond to the triage people at HackerOne and talk with them and something. Like, my gosh, what an amazing thing for like students to play around with and get into. And at the same time, you don't find maybe some bugs and then other people find bugs in the same thing you looked at. It's the same thing with CTFs. You can look up the write-ups or ask researchers that found bugs in these platforms and ask them, how did you find this? And then you can learn from that. I think in general it's a cool thing, but because I got into freelancing right away, basically, I never really was exposed to the bug bounty stuff. Now I'm just working regularly, don't have time for bug bounties.
I'm trying to snag all these questions here. I'm still writing a list out.
Mm. Somebody is asking if I have thought about making my own war game, and actually,
Oh, yeah, good call.
secret. I'm not going to tell you exactly, but I have made my own war game
What?
that exists, and people don't know that I made it,
Are we
which
getting
is super funny.
exclusive content?
Well, the problem is I've teased now this, but I'm not going to say the name because I don't think the server can handle anything. So, just like
Is it is it like well known? Is it a total thing out there in the world
it's
already?
like that's the weird thing. It's like kind of like out there, but it's not known or anything. And so it's super weird to see people stumble over it. It's so weird. How do people even find it and stuff like that? So I want to keep it that way. That's why I'm not dropping the
That's
name. But
awesome.
it's nothing special. It's a very basic one. But from that, I think yes, I would like to do that because also I had now a terrible experience with like exploit exercises because my whole like binary exploitation series was based on exploitexercises.com, and then the domain expired. And the guy who runs this, I don't know this guy who made that website, right? I didn't know that he was still active. I had like the worst scenario in my mind that he just didn't exist anymore. And I tried to snap that, getting that domain failed. And so now it's just like a domain parking thing. And now all my videos referencing exploitexercise.com point into nowhere. And you can still find everything on the web archive. And the guy registered a new domain. Now it's exploit.education. That's a new domain. It has the same VMs and everything. And so that kind of sucks now, because now I like all this content is kind of, people now constantly comment that the site is down and I have to fix it and whatever, and I can't do anything with it. So that's why I would like to make my own war game, and then I can use that for my videos. So it's like one of these, it's like in my Google Docs with ideas that I would like to make. I just don't find the time for it.
Sorry, still, I feel
Yeah,
bad.
I'm just
Not
somebody's asking.
partially listening to you, and also still trying to steal
just
some.
jump in with if you find a good question. Otherwise, I just pick the random questions.
Can you tell me? And this is just me asking, not from one, but can you tell me a little bit more about real CTF, or I mean, obviously you have a full video on it, so I'm sorry if you end up rehashing some of that. But like, someone had
What do
asked.
you want me? Yep.
Someone had asked, okay, yeah, we'll pull from this original question. Like, what was the most difficult CTF you've ever done, and like, what were your key insights? Well, like, what did you learn? What was the best part of that?
That's a bit difficult to answer because, so with a lot of the hard CTFs, or the CTFs have different variety of challenges, right? And with these harder CTFs, you don't have the time to look at them all. Actually, you maybe look at one, maybe two, maybe three challenges or so of that CTF, right? So you don't get to see all of them, and maybe you just pick very hard ones, or you pick the easy ones that are easy for you but are actually hard or whatever. So that's really difficult to answer. I would say all the the normal CTFs, like the CTFs that the big teams are playing, are all hard CTFs. They all have very hard challenges, and so I couldn't even compare them and rank them what would be harder. But of course, like I have, like at the real world CTF, I mentioned it in my video that I didn't solve a challenge in 2 days of working at it. Kind of same experience at the 35C3 CTF. There was I worked on a couple of challenges, but on one challenge specifically, also for the 48 hours, with a bit of sleep in between, but worked on it and didn't solve it during the CTF. I'm happy that in the end, 6 minutes after the CTF, I solved it. So that I'm like super happy about, and still like I don't mind that it wasn't during the CTF. Just happy that I solved it. But the experience of these hard CTFs are really that you pick 1, 2, 3 challenges and you spend, you can spend 24 hours on them or something straight. And so maybe I'm now diverting a bit, but that's something maybe if you get into CTFs, something you have to get used to or accept, that in the beginning you maybe have these easy challenges and you go through them, like you go a lot through them. I mean, John, you probably know, you play a CTF and you solve a couple of challenges and you make a couple of videos.
You totally hit the wall.
Yeah, but the experience of these other CTFs are not like that. And so at some point, like you want to solve challenges, right? But at some point, one challenge, one flag more or not doesn't really matter to you anymore, and now you just want to have the technical challenge. And what the awesome thing about these really hard challenges is that no matter if I solve them or not, I get exposed to a new technological thing I wasn't exposed to before, and that is very, very rewarding. Like what I learned from the real world CTF, the smart contract stuff there. I thought I knew a lot about smart contracts, but that just changed like such an impact. And then finally, at the 35C3 CTF, the challenge I was struggling with was another Ethereum smart contract challenge. However, the awesomeness was that part, the Ethereum part, I could like understand immediately. Like I reverse engineered all the contracts, like just straight away on that CTF, because I had this experience from the real world CTF, and it was just like a blast, like just reversing everything. But then I didn't solve it because now the challenge had a Haskell part. And it's like was a very weird challenge.
What the heck?
And so the person wrote an Ethereum smart contract compiler so basically in Haskell, and you had to find a bug in that Haskell compiler, or uh, in that compiler written in Haskell, and I didn't know Haskell. So I spent hours and hours trying to understand like how Haskell works. So again, didn't solve it, but it was my first real introduction to Haskell.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think I've ever been to a competition like at that scale, by no means, but we've done a lot of local stuff between Cyberstakes for one thing that was live. Anything at B-Sides when they do a competition that we do. Cyber Seed is a local one around Connecticut where I was, and some of the NSA cyber exercise or the old cyber defense exercise. Just those are local or live examples because like the biggest value that I get out of going to a live competition is just hanging out with the people and like meeting the organizers and learning what they learn and what they know. Like if someone solves something in a crazy cool way, having the chance to like go up to them and ask them how they did it, like just talk to them, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the best experience after the CTF. Like when I didn't solve that challenge, and you go there to them and you ask them, and they tell you, and then what? Yeah. Somebody is asking if I ever released the full intro to my song. I
that's a
just want to quickly
that's a real
mention.
song, right?
Yeah, well, it's you can find it in the YouTube free audio library of songs.
Okay.
Like it's a royalty-free song. You can find it in the YouTube library. It's called "The End" or so by Gunnar Olsen or something like that.
Yeah.
If you just type it "End" and Gunnar Olsen, you will find it. So that's the full song. I just took that one. And are there any songs I made by me? Unfortunately, not. I wish I could make music. Actually, it's like one of these bucket list things that I want to do sometime in life at some point, understand how music is made. But yeah, I wish I had an original song. Now that I'm a YouTuber, now I gotta make, a YouTube song, of course.
For sure.
Cave Venom is leaking stuff um,
What's he doing?
about. He leaked the flag of an old like small CTF I made on my subreddit.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Let's see.
But that's not the war game. If she thought that was like a leak of the war game, it's not the war game. I mean, it's a different
Let's talk about certificates. Are there any kind of on your end of the world over there in Germany? Do they care about that stuff? Is that a big thing?
one. So actually, I don't really know.
Okay.
So I have the OSCP
Nice.
certification.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got that fairly early, thanks to like the company I was working at. They were like as a student, every student had like a budget to make a certification,
Hmm.
and a lot of people got like Java certifications or whatever, and I got the OSCP.
Good move.
Um, yeah, I'm pretty happy about that, and that really helped me like with basics of Linux and like getting comfortable with like pen testing because it was very early. It was like a real learning thing for me. Um, but of course, like our industry also knows like CISP and stuff, and then probably there are like German like weird certifications I have no clue about. The thing is, I don't work like at a company where this is important. Like every time when a client comes to us and says, "Hey, can you send us a proposal or something?" and we want that your employees have this certification or something, we just refuse because yeah. So I'm kind of lucky that I work in a place that has a strong stance and not caring about certifications. So that's why I have zero experience with it. I don't know what's typical in our industry. Um, I hear a bit more, online from the American environment that certifications are important. Especially, I feel like a lot of security jobs in the US are in the defense sector
Oh
or
yeah.
generally the government
Yeah,
sector
they're
or
definitely
the
big blue team
government
stuff.
contractors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that seems to be full of certifications, I guess.
Hmm.
But that's not my world. I have no clue about that. Did you do any of these certifications, or are they like on your plan to be able to work for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff? Do
No,
you have a
they're.
do you have a background check? Are you like
Yeah, I have a
uh,
clearance. I
a
am.
clearance?
I do have a clearance. Um, the background check and the polygraph has all been done. But no, I need to tackle like Security Plus or even CEH crap like that. I want OSCP because that's like the holy grail, especially in my eyes. Um, but a lot of my friends going through that whole military trajectory that we've been in, because they're groomed, and I've been groomed originally to be that manager and kind of that white collar stuff. So they want CISSP, or like Certified Information Security Professional something, and that's more for like Chief Information Security Officer. So totally for that blue team defense, protect, incident response stuff. Um, the job that I'm taking up very soon, fingers crossed, right, is going to be on the offensive, or like teaching in the offensive. So having OSCP and being that red team, like cyber threat emulation stuff, is what is crucial in my mind. And I'm definitely more groomed into that because of the CTF scene. But I am fascinated by the blue team stuff. Like I want to do more, even IDS, IPS, Bro, Suricata, Cabana, all those cool magic things.
Yeah, I have also no clue about that.
Yeah,
No experience,
yeah.
zero. Never seen it. No clue how that works.
I saw some
Yeah,
people asking about Windows exploitation, network and Active Directory exploitation, like Bloodhound, Empire, and Responder. You haven't touched that, right?
I have zero
Not
clue
your
about
world.
Windows.
Cool.
Yeah, no idea.
I would recommend to whoever asked that question. Obviously, IPSec does a lot of stuff for penetration testing, and he covers some Windows stuff for Hack the Box. Um, and Under the Wire is the same thing as Over the Wire, but for PowerShell and like strictly for doing
Oh,
Windows stuff. So Under the
never
Wire, I
looked
think, is
into.
very cool, and I want to do a series on that very soon. Um,
Yeah,
fingers
do
crossed.
that. I could use to watch these videos.
Yeah, sweet, sweet.
Yeah,
How,
yeah. Like Windows are my very weak spot. Windows and in general like defense, other defense stuff.
what other YouTubers, if I may ask, like, do you watch? Like, I mean, I look at your stuff, right? I don't know how much of my stuff you look at. Who else do you look at? Even if it's like Jake Paul or crap like that.
Yeah. Okay. So you are not only interested in like
Nah,
technical
we'll be
stuff.
real.
Okay. Wait. Crap. I don't have. Okay. So the thing is, I watch a lot of YouTube,
hmm
and so who do I recommend now? So I loved my small, what was it called when you are ashamed of liking something? My
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, my guilty pleasure
Yeah,
was the Shane Dawson documentary about Jake
nice,
Paul. That was awesome.
nice.
Uh, um, but let me quickly check my subscriptions because there are so many. I watch a lot of stuff. I've just tried to think of maybe something of the smaller YouTubers that I don't really get otherwise like seen a lot. Um, oh crap, not prepared for this. So there's a German YouTuber called Held der Steine, a hero of the stones. He's a Lego YouTuber. He has a small store.
That's
And so
awesome.
he just has like these 20, 30, 40-minute videos of just like reviewing like a Lego set, which is like amazing.
That is
Uh,
awesome.
I mean, Linus Tech Tips.
Nice.
And then, oh yeah, here's a cool YouTuber. I really like Rebecca Watson.
Mm,
She is like making kind of like commentaries on social and political stuff and science, which is really cool. I watch a lot of like the Fine Brothers, like Teens React, Kids React, like the React series stuff. Um, then there's Alex Dynis. She's like a PhD student and like kind of she made started YouTube before she got into a PhD and then made a couple of videos during her PhD as like a small science YouTuber. But I just what I love about YouTube is when other professionals are like sharing their uh, like insight into something. Usually you don't get so much exposure to actual real scientists doing stuff, and that's what I so love about YouTube. Subscribe to PewDiePie, of course, and yeah.
cool.
I mean, Joseph Anderson is like a game. He does like game reviews and stuff. Really awesome. I really love. He also does streaming a little bit. I really like him. Yeah, I think that let me not just scroll down. Oh, Tibby's or Tibby's. Yeah, she's also a physics and math student, I think, or PhD maybe. So she makes videos about math and physics. Also, on a high academic level, which is
Oh,
even
I
if I
think
don't
I've seen
understand it.
her.
Yeah, I just love these kind of
She's very smiley,
videos.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Forgive me for
Sure.
like totally associating that, but
Yeah, yeah. Veritasium, also high quality science videos, of course. Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. That's what I really like. Oh, there's another cool challenge. Last one. Invisible People. He's making like interviews with homeless people all over
oh
the
wow,
US and also internationally. And that's just he was also homeless himself for a while, and so like it's very insightful and very mind opening about kind of stuff. Okay,
sweet.
that's it.
Are you subscribed to
Uh,
PewDiePie, T Series, or PewDiePie? That's spam. Obviously
yeah,
PewDiePie, like hands down.
yeah. PewDiePie is another like guilty pleasure. He seems to be a terrible person, but so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Would you do more Twitch stream on web development? Yeah, yeah. I'm want to do again more Twitch streaming. Want to finish a stupid website.
How long have you been?
Oh
How
yeah,
long have you been doing that? Can I
I
ask?
started like in October or something,
Okay.
November, just like end of
Yeah, because I
last
remember we
quarter
were
of the
chatting
year.
about it just like 6 months
Yeah,
ago. Yeah.
yeah. Do you watch Three Blue One Brown? Yes, yes. Another channel I'm of course subscribed to. Do you know Three Blue One Brown?
I don't. I
He's like a
know.
mathematician and he makes like awesome animations. Like he wrote his animation engine in Python
What?
to visualize the complex, like really difficult math stuff to you know explain complex math things to regular people. And that's just awesome that he first of all wrote his own engine for that, and makes videos with that, and is hugely
Wow.
successful with that. I love
Okay.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Computer File. I see that one scrolling by. Michael Reeves and William Osman. I'm a big fan. Oh, can we talk about Sandbox Escaper or maybe not? Do you know that?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
her. uh Yeah, it's like I don't know what to really say about this.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel bad about her. Like, I, of course, what she's like the tweets are, of course, like getting her
Hmm.
in big trouble, and the tweets themselves, just without context, are obviously terrible. But the whole situation is just really, really sad. It's really bothering me. Something I think a lot about, actually.
Really?
Yeah, like very early on, I talked with her a little bit, but yeah,
I didn't know that.
can't really get through to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to switch the binary. I got you.
Can you please do write up on other questions on real world CTF? So the problem is I didn't really work on other challenges. However, like, let me show you one thing. So I mentioned quickly that there were a couple of challenges at the real world CTF where they had actual devices for you to hack. So there was a camera and a router, and I have the router here. So
Nice.
that's the router from the real world
Wow.
CTF. And so my team solved this challenge, but I didn't solve it myself. So this is like sitting here on the shelf. Like that's like one of these things I hopefully get the time and motivation to do it. No promises. Like it's more likely that I don't do it because I don't find the time, but there's a possibility.
Yeah. Nice toys. Just even to have in the environment. That's cool. I keep all of my like conference or competition stuff, like either the name tag or the whatever they give us, some merchandise. It's fun. Oh, someone asked, do you have merchandise? Why or why
No.
not? You got stickers now, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got stickers somewhere. So the problem with okay, so this goes again like in also uncomfortable streaming and stuff like this. Uh, I myself like merchandise. Like I buy stuff from people. It's cool, right? But I think for me, like the thought about like people buy like like the nickname or whatever, like something you made and like wear it on themselves. That's just like such a weird.
Yeah.
It makes me feel very awkward, and so I kind of don't want to do it. Um, Stickers are a bit different. It's just like a logo. Everybody's doing like
Yeah,
stickers.
slap it
They
on your
don't
laptop.
cost any. Nobody's paying for these stickers, right? Like I buy these stickers and hand them out for free. It's different from somebody spends like $20 or something on a stupid T-shirt. Um, that's kind of how I feel about it. And then again, that leads me to, however, I would like to buy a T-shirt of my favorite YouTuber, and I would like to, see this YouTuber stream and have a face cam sometimes. And so now I'm weighing again the difference between what I feel comfortable with, like what's me, versus what I think would be the perfect YouTube channel or the perfect thing to do. So it's one of the things I'm slowly talking myself into. So I'm sure like at one point I have rewired my brain to be okay with merchandise, but it will still take a bit.
Yeah.
I'm still like, you know, training my brain into accepting that.
I was in the same spot and still kind of am, because when I wanted to kind of venture more of the YouTube scene and to turn it into not a business, but at least a means of some income and like help sustain life and stuff, I looked at merch, but I tried to think of in that same predicament that you had. Like I wouldn't piecing out on me.
Sorry.
No, you're good,
No,
man.
sorry.
uh, I had that same kind of weird, uncomfortable feeling if someone were like wearing either my name or something. I don't know how people, or I don't know how you probably wouldn't know the names, but like Calvin Klein or Michael, Kate Spades, or garbage things that are in American, the people that make clothing and stuff. How do you put your name on a shirt and people voluntarily wear that? Other than, oh, it's the brand, but if you wear something that says John Hammond, you just look like an idiot. So
Yeah.
I literally emailed the Python Foundation and I asked them, like, can I use your logo in a shirts? Can I, and is it or merchandise? And they said, like, yeah, that's totally cool. So
Oh, that's
maybe
awesome.
that, I don't know, maybe that's an
Yeah.
option. But
Yeah, I was also thinking maybe not, then maybe not T-shirts with like a Fat Life Overflow thing, but like just like something related,
yeah,
just something technical, something nerdy or something that would be fine. Yeah. Somebody is spamming that they made their own Life Overflow sticker, which I thought was so funny and so cool. Like they drew it on a thing themselves, which I think that's the actual original Life Overflow sticker. That gets my thumbs up of approval. If you don't have a sticker, just make them yourself. They are hand like drawn is the best.
do you still play Clicker Heroes?
No, but I recently saw that they updated, so I kind of want to check out the second
mm,
characters. Uh,
mm.
Yeah, look here, all my stickers.
Oh,
Yeah, somebody was also asking if I like brought them into circulation at the C3 conference, and yeah, I paid like 120 euros or so and got like a big box of stickers, and just like there are always tables with like where people put stickers down, and so I spread them around the place. Yeah.
cool. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
I want to jump into that too. I've been when I hung out with Joshua Fluke, he was big on that. Just everything you can, sponsors, sell.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I like what Joshua is doing, like with his brand building and stuff like that. It's not for me. Like I don't like that at all. Like for me personally.
Mm.
But so good. He just keeps doing his thing. I still like his
Yeah,
videos.
man, rock on, respect. Did you send me a Gary Vaynerchuk link at some point? You
Gary Venner.
okay? If
I'm not
not,
sure.
totally not. Okay.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe I just don't remember the name.
Yeah.
Maybe I sent you or something.
He is a video guy, but big on like produce content, make things, be out there. And I don't know. I think you had sent me a link of one of his videos just to like, hey, this is motivation stuff, or just like make sure you produce something. But I also coordinate that in my mind with Josh because he's on that same mindset and
Mm,
mentality. But
yeah. No, doesn't actually sound a lot like me, kind
maybe,
of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want to hop into this giant list of user
Oh yeah,
questions?
please just
Can
shoot.
Are
Yeah.
you seeing the stream at all or no?
Yeah, I have it open
I
here
don't know
on
if I
on
can
the.
just throw this there or send it to you in Discord. Either one would
Yeah,
be
I have it. I
helpful.
have it open. Whatever you prefer.
I don't want to pop out of Discord. Let me just switch to that screen, and then you can pick and choose.
Like rapid fire kind of
Yeah,
thing.
some of these are like, oh, we can answer that in 1 second. That's a question like Google or DuckDuckGo.
Oh
Which
my
search engine?
gosh.
So
So now you have that on full screen. Can you quickly get like the camera somehow
Yeah.
included?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you do like your OBS magic?
Yeah. I'll,
I just get started while you try to set that up. Where
oh,
do you learn? Mhm.
sorry, probably making a mess.
Oh no, it's all fine. Where do you learn from? Books? What books do you read? So actually, I never really learned with books. I have a hard time like concentrating on books. That's one reason why um, you know, like videos because I'm just like, I wish I could read books. Like I'm envious of the people that can like sit down, read a book, and absorb it. But that's just not my experience. Like my brain doesn't let me, just like read a book.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I a stupid thing that I did when I was younger is I bought a lot of O'Reilly reference books, like the small pocket-sized reference
Yeah,
books, and
I
that's
yeah.
not even to use as a reference, but just to like flip through the pages and like try and find new syntax or like new ways to do things. But that's the most my brain and my attention span can handle. Like going through a thick book, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Uh, Now, can you move the
Yep.
or crop the thing because I don't see the questions.
Oh
How
boy,
do you balance work, study, and yeah, that's the big question for 2019 because 2018 was a big mess
it was
with like
rough.
balancing stuff. Uh, and there's no working out. I have a dog, so I get to walk the dog a lot.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, that's my problem. I don't have time. I don't have free time. I don't balance that stuff well. That's like yeah. So expect less content on of Live Overflow this year because I need to change something.
Yeah, I don't balance work and play easily. Because I spread myself way too thin with other things that I want to actually accomplish that are productive and good for me. But sometimes I just want to like take a nap or play Smash Brothers or something stupid, and then it's like, well, I've burned this much time when I should have been working, and now I feel bad about myself, and it just sucks. Um,
Yeah,
Working
yeah. The
out.
theoretical.
Hmm?
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, working out, exercise stuff. We have a little gym in the house that I'm in right now. It's just weights, and I try and run. But to be completely honest, my girlfriend is fantastic at making me exercise because she likes to work out. So she'll drag me to work out with her.
Uh, yeah, I guess the dog is my equivalent to that. So yeah, yeah. And there was something I wanted to say. I totally forgot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, with playing games. Like the problem is, I'm like a freelancer. I work from home. There's like no difference in working and thing. And now this hobby life overflow starts to turn in something like turns into work slowly. So there's no difference there anymore. And so in the theoretical to-do list, it's like endless. You know this. They are like, the list of videos you could make is endless. And so uh, I I'm not able to allow myself to like relax or in a super like stressed out mood, constantly feeling that I constantly have to do something. It's I need to change something this year. Yeah. Which university can you recommend in Berlin? I don't want to really recommend the university because I have no clue. I obviously only studied at one, and I went to that university just because friends were there and they know how to do the paperwork. Uh, so I have no clue. I if for these kind of reasons I wouldn't have gone to Berlin. I would have actually possibly studied in Bochum. I hear good things about the Ruhr University in Bochum or the KIT in Karlsruhe. Um, yeah, I mean there are a lot of awesome universities, but I have no clue. I obviously don't have any experience there. Did you? Oh yeah, you went. Wait,
I
I
went
don't know the city
to
where you went.
college.
Is
Um,
that university?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. um, I
But
studied.
you went to this
Hmm?
Marine
I went
Army.
to a military one, Coast
Yeah.
Guard stuff, but military school. I studied electrical engineering there because they didn't have a computer science or cybersecurity major or degree. Um, Actual horrible story, I think. Years ago, like I don't know however many decades ago, but when computer science was like just forming and is becoming a subject to study like all over the world, I think they were dealing with some budget cuts or money problems as they do, and someone in whatever the top of the chain had jokingly said, "Oh, well, why don't we just cut the computer science major?" Like as a joke, as a gimmick, and I think that's what really happened.
uh,
So I studied electrical engineering, but that was strictly systems and signals, and it's not anything at all related to what I do or what I actually enjoy. So I don't know how much weight you can put into a school or university. Obviously, I can't speak with any kind of authority or real judgment there, but I think what I have found, and maybe you can agree or speak to it live, is a lot of what you learn in security is self-taught. Is that fair to
yeah.
say?
Yeah, I think the like there are also these security degrees, and to be honest, like my feeling towards them is kind of very skeptical. I just think that to understand kind of security, you just need a good basis on IT already, and I just feel like security is something you do kind of after you build a foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of learn it in parallel, but it's not like a full. For me, it doesn't feel like a full like early college level kind of thing. Um, and then, of course, I think a lot more important at the university is also the stuff around it. So you have the class and courses itself, but then you have access to professors, you have access to the practice, like the exercise you have to make, and then you have groups to have, and you have student groups that you can meet with and uh, connect with people and get to meet people that have similar thing. So all that stuff around colleges, I think, make these human connection with other professionals or the people that are going to be professionals is so important, and that can happen at any university. Also, all the IT classes I kind of had, there are very few I would say that they were actually good. Um, the topics itself I think important, but just like how the class was taught, it's not that great. And actually, the best class I had was not on a security class at all. Because we are in a master's degree, you are forced to make a couple of courses in an unrelated field just to broaden your horizon, kind of thing. And so that was actually the best class I've ever had in university. And so that one course unrelated to IT was the best course compared to the dozens of other courses I've done. Yeah, but I'm also still not finished with my university, so there's this other thing.
Let me completely derail before we go to another question because someone had asked and it made me think of it. Um, what the original question was, what games do you play? And we can both tackle that. But I also was, that made me realize, like, oh, I wanted to ask about Jinvale's Winter Game Development Challenge. So whatever you think or whatever you're up for.
Yeah, I mean, so games I play, just I don't know what I come across, what I feel in the mood with. I couldn't really say anything specific. There's nothing right now that I'm really playing. Again, like goes into this other thing. I don't feel like I have time right now to play
Yeah,
any games.
yeah.
So I wanted to play Smash and played it for like 3 hours or so, and since then haven't picked it up. Um, when PUBG was a big thing like last year, I started playing that a bit. Same
Really?
with yeah, it's like kind of looked fun on stream, so I played it for several hours and stuff. Yeah, actually, okay, PUBG Mobile is actually pretty cool because my girlfriend was never interested in PUBG, but she plays PUBG Mobile.
Hmm.
Don't ask me why or how this happened, but so now all these non-gamer like friends that we have here in Berlin are into PUBG Mobile. And so they sit now on the sofa and play PUBG Mobile. And it's super fun, and they have voice chat and they play PUBG Mobile.
That's fun.
I think it's the greatest thing ever.
Cool.
Uh, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there are a lot of games that I crossed. The last game I played was Equilinox, which, okay, another YouTuber plug. So there's a YouTuber called Thin Matrix, and he did weekly development vlogs on YouTube, how he was developing his indie game Equilinox. And that finally was released just at the end of last year. So like it's cool to see like after this all these months and years of following him on YouTube, finally he gets to put out his game, and it was really fun to finally play that. That was the last game I played.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't play as much games I don't want to play games. I don't want to be spending my time with that, but I do occasionally, and not a lot.
Yeah.
I did a lot of like Call of Duty and like cheesy first-person shooters before like going into college, and then that college military stuff kind of took that all out of me. But I'll occasionally play Smash, like you said, for like 3 hours, and I haven't touched it since.
Yeah.
But someone had
Yeah.
mentioned some like hacker mud or some hacking simulator stuff, cheesy, unrealistic hacker simulators, and that made me think of Jinvel's game development contest.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen yet, so Gunvile is another YouTuber and also a security professional, and he's also in the CTF team that just smashed 2018. His
Hell
team
yeah.
is on place one, so the most successful team 2018. So he is like he knows his shit.
Oh yeah.
He's like really he's amazing. And so what he does sometimes, he's organizing these game development streams because learning programming and being creative and all that stuff is related to hacking for him and me, or like just like being like the demo scene is like such a cool like kind of hacking uh, community. And so making these games with certain constraints like size constraints or other constraints are a really fun creative way. And so I wrote him at some point and said, dude, I think it's so cool, can I join one time, like would it be
Nice.
okay for you? And so he was open for that. And then I was also, he always pays out of his pocket an amount for prices, and so I did, like I just matched that, so we were be able to like double the price amount. And instead of making the first place win more, we just decided to, that even like further down people can still win something. And so it's just like, not nothing commercial or anything, just like trying to encourage people to play around with JavaScript and creating some fun little games. And you only have time for a month,
Yeah.
and you have a file size of only 128 kilobytes or something like that, I
Hmm.
think, for your game. So there's not a lot of space to really make a complex game or anything. So, and nobody's expecting that. It's just, you have a few constraints, try to come with something small creative, and I'm really excited to see what kind of people come up with. And it's, maybe hopefully a good opportunity to just you know get motivated to make a little bit of game development or something. And
Yeah. I want to play, like honestly, but I need to learn a lot more about JavaScript and some
yeah,
HTML5 stuff to do it. But it's not going to stop me. Yesterday I tried to do like a little game development JavaScript tutorial. It was in like Free Code Camp or something, but it's like it'd be cool to just toss my hat in there.
yeah. And I also, like, before, I have never handed in anything, but I also, it motivated me to start programming. And sure, in the end I didn't hand in. For some people that feels like a fail, but actually,
Yeah.
like you said, I also don't really know how to do JavaScript game development, and I just learned a lot again through just like these 10 hours or so I spent on it, which was still fun to me. Yeah.
Cool.
So I hope a lot of people join. Yeah, it would be cool to see a submission from you.
Yeah, man. I hope so. I hope I can get something out. It
Yeah,
sounds
and then
like
you can
like
create the videos about it, how you
I
made it.
know it'd be a win.
Yeah.
I think that dual screen setup, that constraint that you have, and the storyline sounds very cool. And like, wow, that could generate a lot of neat ideas. So I'd love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really curious about that. Yeah. Um,
Um,
do you have more questions on that
we
list?
have way too many questions, dude. I just threw in whatever people ask, and then it's up to I guess either of us what we want to tackle, what we want to jump at. But
Yeah. So above that there was a question, what is my job? I'm just a freelancer doing IT security consulting, just the regular like code audits and stuff like that. Um, yeah, a lot of web application security.
I'm still transitioning out of government military nonsense. I've been doing some part-time stuff that's web development in like PHP and Laravel, and another part-time thing like contract work just to develop. Even they do training. They offer training, so we're trying to develop capture the flag challenges, and that's super fun because I like to try and put
Awesome.
stuff in a Docker container and like make it an active challenge, encapsulate it so the vulnerability and the exploit stays inside though. You don't get RCE on like a real production machine, and that's really cool and really fun because it's something that I actually enjoy and I can put it to earn some revenue from. And I'm waiting on that new job to come in that's teaching for some cybersecurity stuff. That's pseudo government. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. So for me also, I wanna like keep working that job and do YouTube. Like I don't want to do YouTube full time because I think it's actually extremely. I know it's a bit difficult to balance two different things, but I think it's like really really good if you keep like exposing yourself to a regular kind of job thing. I think that experience then creates a much more real and honest like you're not just pretending to give advice and
Yeah.
info about IT, but you are a professional yourself. You actually uh, use that, or you can relate to a regular person. I think yeah.
There was a question that was later down on the list, but I think associates more with it. Is like, do you think you can support yourself just by doing freelance security jobs, which I know is what you do? But if I were to alter that question, would you be able to support yourself just by having the YouTube initiative, or would you want to?
Well, okay, so I could earn a lot of money with security consulting. I'm in a unique, very lucky position that I work with a team that has a very good reputation, and we get a lot of projects, and we have absolutely no problems of getting work. And so my problem is rather I have too much projects, and to be able to do YouTube, I actually decline a lot of projects. So I actively earn less for making these YouTube videos. Now, of course, I do that, or I did that, you know, I do YouTube now for 3 years. I did this obviously just because I had fun, and I decided to work a bit less to balance it out with like my hobby to have fun, and that's totally fine. And now I spend way more time on YouTube now. I spend so much time on this stuff and invest more time in my videos and things like that. So, and then this year the numbers exploded. Like now I'm actually considering, can this be a second work,
Nice.
so that I have two different things, which would also be good just to be like financially a little bit um, on different legs. That I, if one thing like fails, also that could always things can change, and it
Hmm.
would be nice to have multiple incomes. But actually, if I think as I'm not sure if you guys know what like a consultant earns. And I just encourage you to just Google what a regular business consultant or security consultant charges as an hourly or daily rate. And uh, it's really a lot of money, and it's unrealistic that I actually earn that with YouTube. Like, so I don't want to. It's my choice that I not earn this. I could always like go do freelance work. So it's my choice that I not work more, um, and I don't want any like pity for like don't want to hear anything about like or uh, you what's it saying? I don't want to like make anybody encouraged to give me money or something for the YouTube stuff, because it's my choice. I could earn more with freelance work. However, there's the fun part, and the second part is that uh, you know I'm young, taking a risk here, deciding to not earn as much money as I could to maybe build something. This YouTube thing is going crazy,
Yeah,
right?
make it cool.
And
Absolutely.
just taking that as an opportunity, and I'm not taking any financial risk, so I'm not worried in that sense. I'm not scared of it, or there's nothing like, if I don't hit these numbers I lose my apartment or something like this. That's not the case. I just decide to earn a little less, and um see if that works out. And that's kind of exciting and fun and interesting. I'm learning a lot about business and all that stuff, so for me it's just a learning opportunity right now. But sorry for this long talking,
No,
but where
that's what we're
we'll
here
get
for.
to in in a couple, like in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, depending on how the YouTube stuff will go, this will decide if I you know um, invest more time into YouTube or invest more time in freelance stuff. And based on how that will develop, that will decide how I will have to um, decide on how much time I spent on something.
Yeah.
Like in 2018, I basically worked two full-time jobs. Like I spent so much time in YouTube and I spent so much time freelancing, which was funny because I decided in 2017 that I would work less in 2018, and I worked more.
It
And I
didn't
don't know how
happen.
that happened. Yeah,
Cool.
that's my deal.
Yeah.
So I'm in a very lucky position, like in a very privileged position. One other thing I wanted to mention for you, John, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, and I call also in relation to Joshua, like I'm in a very privileged position that I don't have to worry about money because of my freelance position. It allows me to be a lot more like chill about my YouTube channel. I don't
Yeah.
have this pressure and anxiety. And I think, for example, Joshua's channel is actually a bit suffering a bit from his anxiety that he kind
He's
of
got to
wants to
keep
make it work.
pumping stuff every
It's
day.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it feels a bit to me it's a bit like working really, really
Well,
hard
that's
trying
his
to make it
hustle, though.
work.
I respect
Yeah,
that
that's
too.
exactly. I totally respect that.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
more power to him. I'm just saying that, uh, also that you commented on the nice quality of the camera and people. I can afford this thanks to my freelance
Hmm.
job. So I'm in a privileged position, and part of the success of the channel is that I have the time, thanks to my freelance position, that I can choose to work less. And a lot of people might not have this ability to reduce their work uh, to then invest time in YouTube. And so, part of like my success is not that I'm special in a way, just because I'm very privileged and lucky with the kind of jobs I got that allows me to invest the time.
And that's awesome.
If that makes sense.
Like, Josh had made the jump, right? He quit his kind of corporate bougie job or whatever he had uh, going every day to do this kind of thing full time, to do YouTube and that entrepreneurship, his own build your brand stuff. And I would love to. Joshua Fluke, for the people in the chat that are like, what are they talking about? He's a guy that I just did a video with. He interviewed live a bit ago, and he's in the scene. But I would love to be able to do that. I think I'm also in the same mentality of you in that I want more years being in the culture and in the community and teaching it or doing it or working it as a professional before I can just fake it, like on YouTube. Um, it'd be cool, but right now I'm nowhere near at that stage. It'd be fun, but maybe sometime down the road. Still want to build up what, like you said, like what you're building or what I'm building or what we're building here. So,
Yeah.
what else we got? How many of these do you want to run through, man? I know you wanted to say maybe 2 hours or so, but whatever
Yeah,
you're
just keep
comfortable
going. It's all right.
with. I know you were up to like 3 in the morning the other day, so
Sorry. What is the next question here?
wherever you'd like. What do you
Do you
think?
think you can support yourself by doing? Yeah. So that question. Yeah, I earn like good money with freelance job, and I feel bad for everybody that wants to get into freelance. I never planned to become a freelancer. I got lucky, recommended by somebody. I never planned to. I actually uh, interviewed for a regular web development job before I went into that freelance gig. I have no clue what I would do if I lose my partnership kind of situation with that company. Like I have no clue how to do a regular freelance. How do you deal with learning blocks and things that are beyond your scope?
I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. So like one big learning block I mentioned earlier in the stream was, when I did these binary exploitation things and I couldn't just continue, right? And then I saw the geohead stream. So um and I have another block I'm reaching right now, which is with modern security research like browser exploitation and um iOS research, Windows and stuff like this. I feel like so overwhelmed by these topics, and I want to learn more. And I've been whining for years to people that I don't understand these things, which made me realize it's very similar to how I reacted in the early days when I started with binary exploitation. That I also whined about like, why is nobody like telling me how to do this or something.
Yeah.
So I realize that now, and I think I just gotta rough it and start
Yeah.
working on that stuff.
I'm the same way because when we talked about earlier, I wanted to get into more of that blue team stuff, or the stuff like Bro or Windows exploitation, and protecting a whole infrastructure and all that. Like, there's a lot to learn. It's like a ginormous field. Cybersecurity is huge, and if you just like am dragging yourself through all those things to learn, it's straight suffering. And at the same time, I want to be able to produce this. I want to be able to do YouTube, and I want to be able to keep myself growing and making things, but also learning blocks and trying to do things that are beyond the scope. It's hard, but it's totally you just got to suck it up and push through it. If that's the priority is learning and growing, maybe obviously tinkering with it and playing with it in code is necessary, but research, staring at it, hours of work.
Yeah.
I think you would probably be able to answer a lot of the hardware or embedded pen testing stuff.
I'm also just a novice. I just like,
Yeah.
that's again like this thing. I did this hardware CTF on my channel,
Yeah.
these videos, and I was just learning all this stuff while I was going along. And I think I made it clear in these videos that I have no clue what I'm doing. But now people have this impression that I'm some kind of professional in embedded devices, which is completely wrong.
We're just dudes.
Yeah. So advice for embedded pen testing. I don't think anybody calls it embedded pen testing. You would just look for embedded. I'm just saying, like, if you search online, you would just look for embedded security or embedded systems. And, it's just about, like with anything, just learn how these things are built and you will learn a lot of the issues. The problem with hardware stuff is that a lot of tools are very expensive, like an oscilloscope or some kind of other like tools are very expensive. Also, if you do research on devices, you might destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
If you do crazy stuff like desoldering certain chips and resolder them, so you need all these equipments to pull off that thing. So that's a little bit annoying to get into. Otherwise, there are conferences again, like Recon. Watch these kind of talks, and you will get a very good introduction. And also now I'm doing these hardware wallet videos. So with next week we get the first more technical video, and I think they will kind of be a cool introduction that goes like from the start of, the goal is to find that vulnerability that they were reporting in this hardware wallet. And so I've prepared 2 more videos. I need to work on the other one, so no clue how long that will take until we get to that point. But I think that is a cool, like for me as well, like I'm learning as I'm going again in these videos.
Yeah.
I get a lot of help from my friends that on these things.
Cool.
Do you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Are we broken? Did we lose? Where are we at? Let me see, pop back to the Discord. Can you not hear me talking live, or? Whoa! You just jumped out. Oh no, now it's just full me. Gross. What do I do? How do I entertain all these people all on my own? Are you guys just going to talk because it's making me sleepy? Unfortunately, yeah, unless we cover some other material. I didn't have anything other planned. Let me tackle to see where he's at. Okay. Hiccup. American man pleases 240 people at once. Oh, that's funny. F to play respects. F to pay respects. I dig it.
Okay, so theoretically I'm back.
Theoretically, you're back. I hear you. You got video?
You don't see my camera, right?
I do not see your camera. Now I see your camera.
Okay.
Woo!
Yay, professionals. We know computers.
We keep it real here. All right, I think we're back.
Yeah. Any tips for new computer security students? So you're a student. My tip would be just, I don't know how to respond to questions like that. Do you have like a good response when people ask you?
Any tips for
like
new computer security students? It's crap because the answer is the same that everyone will tell you. Just be a sponge. Learn everything. Read. Yeah.
I would maybe make it a like it would depend on where you are a student, like what are your opportunities that your college or wherever you're going like offers.
Yeah.
Are there groups where you can connect with other students, where you can study again depending on the city, maybe go to meetups? Are there out of curriculum courses that you can take where they is there like is there a CTF team or something like this you can join? Otherwise, just have fun, enjoy your your student life. I think is very important. And because when you have fun at university and you surround yourself with people that have also fun at university and fun learning, you can make study groups, you cook together and learn together. And that is kind of, you know, if you can kind of get that kind of experience out of it, then you're good to go, I think.
That's the best kind of experience. Yeah, absolutely. Some other people about resources, learning sock. I don't know if we want to tackle that because you can just kind of Google what that one is. Binary exploitation. You've got some exceptional videos on binary exploitation stuff.
Oh, by the way, could you maybe just copy and paste those questions to me
Yeah.
over, because I always have to wait when
Yep.
you like switch back,
Yeah, I'm
then
sorry. Let's.
I'm a bit faster.
Bam.
Awesome.
Should have done that a
Good
long
source
time.
to learn binary exploitation. Uh, I think the best resource is learning by doing it. So over the wire, or exploit education. And if you get stuck, if you struggle, that's normal. Everybody has this experience. Try to Google not for the solution if you get stuck, but try to figure out what exactly is your problem and search for that. And if you get fully stuck and you really feel it gets really, really frustrating, then you can also, of course, like maybe my videos will help.
I always try to say
Uh,
like, hey, maybe my stuff will be of assistance. I don't know if it's any good.
yeah, I think like the hierarchy for me with like learning kind of
Yeah.
thing is like always the best thing is if you can rough it yourself by doing that, spending 10 hours on a stupid challenge. During that time, you will Google and read so much other stuff that will really teach you a lot. And, but sometimes you just hit a wall, you can't continue, and then you need some help. And then hopefully, like videos like mine help, or your videos. That's kind of, yeah. When
Cool.
is my next hardware video coming out? Next Friday.
Nice, man. You keep them coming.
Yeah, every Friday is like my schedule.
Awesome.
No expectations, but for the last 2 years or so, it has been always every Friday.
I need to get better about that. I think we kind of
Yeah, but I mean,
covered.
you make so many more videos as well. Like
Well,
for you, it's like,
when I do the CTFs, like those are kind of easy is not the right word, but being able to sit down and record multiple challenges and then have them backlogged. So like yeah, if I work through Pico is a crap example, but there's so many of them that I can just okay record, and then over the course of 10 days now I've got content, which is nice. But I want it to be better. So I wanted to now with the face cam stuff, trying to socialize a little bit more with an intro or outro. I want there to be more quality to it because for the longest time, yeah, my channel has just been a nice screen cap of me showing raw how to accomplish something, how to do it, and I think that's what a lot of people liked. But adding the extra polish is nice. I have
yeah,
some videos recorded for the Sans Holiday Hack Challenge or KringleCon that I'm really excited to release January 15th, or like once the competition is over, and I like those a lot because I think they're good quality and it's exceptional content. Like I like
nice.
Sans and all of their stuff in the Holiday Hack Challenge. But,
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. Can you give me like a rundown of Sans? Like Sans is like
oh
apparently a big
goodness,
thing,
absolutely,
and this is like in my kind of like surrounding or something. Sans is like never a thing, but
sure,
apparently it's like super big. I have
yeah.
no clue.
Sans is a organization that does classes and teaches on a ton of different security concepts, both blue team, both red team, exploitation, memory forensics, tons of stuff. Their courses will last for like a week or 2 weeks. It's a live and in-person thing. They cost money, like $6,000, $7,000 for the course, or you can do a live, online or an online training, which is good, but not as good as the real thing in the class. And they also offer Net Wars, which is their ideal of a CTF of a capture the flag game.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Net
Yeah.
Wars is big. Um, and they do the Holiday Hack Challenge. A lot of it is, I think, the brain baby of Ed Scotus, who you may not know the name of, but he's a guy I super duper respect and awesome guy. But he's the mastermind behind the Holiday Hack Challenge, and his counter hack team is just a bunch of rock stars. So I wear their stuff.
Ah, nice. Yeah, a lot of people seem like really, because for me from the outside, commercial place with trainings, but then so many people seem to be really, really like positive about it, like are
Yeah,
real fans of Sans and like really think so. Yeah, I have no clue about Sans, so yeah, thanks for the quick
yeah,
introduction.
they're quality. The the courses are good. They're a lot of money, and I've taken a few just in that military stuff. But I would love and always love to go back, and I hope to showcase some love for their Holiday Hack Challenge because that's a big thing.
Gotcha. Cool. Somebody commented that what a quote from IPPSec saying that the most successful people I know are able to spend 100 hours going down a rabbit hole only to realize it leads nowhere, but able to find small wins of new knowledge. Yeah, that's exactly my experience with like these hard CTF challenges.
Yeah,
It's frustrating that you don't solve them, but having spent these 40 hours on this challenge, I learned so much along the way again that I benefit from. And thinking back to my younger self, like being a student, I remember feeling this pressure of I need to make something that I can show off. Like I need to finally finish a project, like finish a website to have it on my portfolio or anything like this. Like I felt a real pressure of I need to make something and have something to show for. Now, in retrospect, so I never really had that. In retrospect, it wasn't necessary at all for me, and I shouldn't have felt that pressure, kind of thing, because like just the learning stuff has been way more impactful for me actually. Like I never finished a project that was useful for me later to show like I did something, but what was very helpful for me is just knowing and having learned stuff along the way.
yeah, it's the biggest part. Learning.
Yeah. Okay. So next
We
question
got
here.
other questions rolling? Too many.
Where did you learn all this
We
stuff?
kind of covered some of
Well,
that, did we?
yeah, I think so. Where did you learn all this stuff? So for me, most of the stuff is actually like CTFs and war games and these kind of things. How about you? You said you had classes at the
Yeah,
or
yeah. Whatever
military
school that I
thing.
went to.
What would you say that you was that also security
No.
focused because you had security, but you had security classes there for Sense or
So
something?
what ended up coming into fruition was that yeah, we had an electrical engineering major and study and degree, and that was what my undergrad is. Uh, you also have your extracurriculars, right? So you form up a
Mm.
club or an activity or something. So we had the cyber team, and that was where I kind of like I would love to step up to the plate and create things and make things and learn things, and that's where a lot of the challenges that I've developed have kind of came out of. So having those Docker containers or preparing files that have some interesting stuff to them, maybe it's a forensics challenge, maybe it's a crypto challenge. That's where all that learning came from. So it has been self-taught, and that's been trial by fire through CTFs, reading write-ups when you're in the bathroom, literally all the time, and everything, every chance you get, it doesn't matter. Watching other people, watching IPSec, watching live, watching Metal X 1000, Luke Smith, Josh, just being a sponge.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. What do you think on quantum
Quantum
hacking?
hacking, is that a thing?
I don't know.
I know quantum computing is a big thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's what they mean. I mean,
Do you
it's
use
cool
Hack the
science.
Box
No,
or
actually, I think
Vulnhub
I've
or anything?
never used. I think I've never. I think maybe I guess I have an account. I think, and maybe
Yeah.
I a long time ago maybe I tried something, but never something I got into. There are so many war games and CTF sites. I guess it's a cool site, but I was never something I got into.
So it sounds like a lot of your practices are like exploit exercises in Protostar, right?
Okay, yeah, for like early on, like the big things where I spent like so much time on was exploit exercises, IO smash the stack.
Nice.
Um, those were the binary stuff, and then there were other things like W3
Oh yeah.
challenges. That I spent also a lot of time on. Um, and then just regular CTFs, like just that things that ran for like a weekend, was a big thing for me. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that 3 of these sites, and you have thousands of hours of time that you can spend on them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, how should I start learning Windows network?
Kind of covered this
Tell
one.
me.
Talked a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tell me. I don't know.
We want to know too. Do you use any VPN services?
um, kind of like I
Yeah.
have just like my like a server at DigitalOcean just to as a VPN, uh to if I need one for like if I'm somewhere with my Wi-Fi. But in general, actually, like the advertisements of the VPN services that are so crazy, like private internet access and whatever that exists, is really grinding my gear. It's really pissing me off actually,
Yeah.
because it's like creating like a false sense of urgency or security. And I don't see what's so different of piping all your content through one commercial provider or your ISP. Of course, it kind of makes sense in Wi-Fi situations, in public Wi-Fi's, but then again, nowadays, most sites that the most average person is using, all banks I know use SSL, Facebook, Google, everything is protected with SSL, Instagram, everything is secure over an insecure network. I don't worry at all. And I think they and people have this completely wrong perception of what a VPN actually like protects you from and
Yeah.
stuff like this. So I don't know. Yeah. So that's it. And I have like a home VPN, like not a VPN endpoint, but just like for an internal network where I just have like my home machine and an IRC thing, and something just to connect to my devices.
Yeah.
So
Do you have a home network or kind of a range you
not
set up for
really.
yourself? Yeah.
I have like an storage NAS here, and I have like a small Intel NUC kind of thing where I have.
Nice.
I actually got that to run the Pwn Adventure server
Oh,
on.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
like that's what I used to host it locally for myself. Um, yeah, that's about it. I actually don't have much of a
Some
network
people are asking
otherwise.
if that's a server rack behind you, or is that a bookshelf?
This?
Yeah.
No, that's actually just like I can show
A
you.
file
One second.
cabinet? I thought.
So you have these, these what's it called? Uh, suitcases, that you can
Yeah.
carry, and they have just like
Oh,
electronics
okay.
and
Nice. Nice.
stuff inside.
Sweet.
And so that's like a portable workbench
Mhm.
basically. You have the wood stuff on top, and in the drawers at the top, I have like screwdrivers and stuff like this. And it's one of the coolest things I bought actually. So the story behind this is that uh, I stumbled over Mythbusters. What's this one guy from Mythbusters? He
I
also has a channel, Tested or
maybe I don't know the
something like
name.
that. Okay, anyway, so he was showing off his storage solutions for all his like screws and all that crap. And I was looking for something to put my electronics. And he said this company is the best company that makes the best rugged and most awesome container like solutions. And it's a German company, and he imports them to the US from Germany, and it's super expensive, he said. So it's still expensive in Germany as well, but I'm so happy about this because there's not much space in this apartment, and
Yeah.
having like this kind of self-contained thing where everything fits nicely in, and you can do some
That's awesome.
yeah. I'm super proud of that one. I really like it. Okay, sorry.
Ah, man. Thanks for showing us behind the scenes.
The company is called Sortimo, like Sortimo.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, Adam Savage. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you Google for Sortimo Adam Savage, he might be also like super excited to just show off his his Sortimo boxes. Yeah. So he sold it to me.
Nice.
Um,
What is a good CTF for beginners? Well, I will always swear by Pico, and that asks
Mm.
that doubles as a war game in CTF. Um,
Yeah, so for me, it's like I don't have any experience with Pico, but a lot of people recommend Pico as a beginner. So I also say that usually over the wire, I guess.
yep,
Exploit education, I guess, is also good, but it depends on kind of what you want to do. But actually, like that's kind of a problem I have. I'm not sure if I'm talked to you about that or if I just said that in a stream somewhere that I actually would like to kind of review all the different CTF platforms. So maybe we should kind of get together, like
that would be awesome.
um kind of like especially from beginners that use these sites and get like gather feedback and work through that feedback to figure out like what are good platforms. Maybe we should,
That would be
do
excellent,
that or something.
especially some of the stuff for your website project. Maybe
Yeah,
could be a good resource.
yeah, yeah. What is your biggest accomplishment and what are you most proud of or thing you have ever written?
I get super happy when I do like a cool attack. Like if I write decrypting some AES ECB thing or something that I've never done before. What is my biggest accomplishment? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I,
Well, I mean, I think you should be proud of your YouTube channel and all the content you're sharing.
that's
That
fun.
is, I think, a great
When
accomplishment.
I got recognized at some of the security conferences when I went to B sides and someone was like, "Whoa, dude, are you John Hammond?" I'm like, that was surreal. That's a weird accomplishment, I guess. People will recognize by the
Yeah,
voice.
congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have the most beautiful voice. I'm so
thanks.
jealous of your voice. I think my videos would be so much better with your voice.
Nah. How about you?
I'm actually really proud of like what LiveOverflow has kind of become.
Yeah,
Uh, I was very insecure in the beginning. I thought that would be like childish, the kind of videos I would make. And so seeing that like security professionals I look up to are like say that this is great videos that I make is like the biggest like makes me so extremely proud.
yeah.
I always wanted, to uh, m- make something where I get the respect of other professionals, and so that they say that about my channel. This is like, that's like I'm really really proud of that. Yeah,
Cool.
and of course, like you mentioned, like if I solve a challenge, there's no better feeling than that.
What was your first programming language? Python, and is still my weapon of choice.
My preferred programming language was, I think, like Visual Basic Script and then Visual
Nice.
Basic. It was like very old. Like
That's
I
awesome.
don't ask me how I got into it. I got like a book from my dad or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. And then but I didn't know what I was doing. Like I was copy and pasting stuff online. I didn't understand like if cases and I
Yeah.
didn't understand loops. Like, oh, arrays. Arrays blew my mind. Because okay, so wait, I need to tell us. So there was a browser game, like a old school like strategy browser game where you build like buildings and they then build like armies and then you send armies to other people. I don't know if you've ever played like a browser game like that.
Yeah, I think so.
But so you create your army and then you can send spies and get like the report back what the other person has. And so you sit in school constantly like calculating if your army would win against this other person's army. And I wanted to write a program to help me calculate these things. So the problem was now that you had like a lot of armies, like a lot of people, and I didn't know about arrays. So I would write soldier 1 as a variable, soldier 2 as a variable, soldier 3 as a variable, soldier 4 as a variable. And then I like had an issue. I posted somewhere online, and then somebody said, "Do you know that something like arrays exist?" And it just, oh,
They're pretty powerful. They're good stuff.
yeah,
Best data type.
yeah. So yeah, and then yeah, Python is probably the one I spend most of my time with.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when you say where did I start, it was cheesy like HTML and
Mm.
CSS. But so yeah, those aren't the programming languages. They're more markup and all
Yeah,
that. So
I would count that still. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I don't like that. It's not programming, it's scripting. It's just whatever.
Let's see.
You are still programming the machine, which is the browser,
True.
to
Very
display
true.
you certain things. Um,
So we covered some of the merchandise stuff. How long have you been doing this? You said, well, 3 years
yeah,
on
I'm
YouTube.
yeah, I'm also not that deep into binary exploitation.
Yeah,
Like any like more hard, like anything labeled medium at CTF challenges, like medium binary exploitation, I'm failing.
yeah,
And
maybe we
hard,
have a
forget
chance.
it. Yeah, like I understand like all the basics. I understand the concepts of memory and buffers, and I understand structures in memory and data types, and uh, I have seen like basic heap overflow stuff like that, but I lack all this kind of experience to actually uh, turn that into solving these hard challenges.
Nice.
That's kind of how I view it.
I don't know. Someone asked, "Have you ever done any black hat or gray hat stuff?" I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I would lie if I had never like clicked on like a parameter in a page and I being curious or something.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, yeah.
When I, it was funny doing a, like being in high school, be just as a stupid kid in high school. Um, I noticed that all of the computers, like all throughout the library or like throughout the whole the school network, had like their C share, like the Samba C
Mm.
drive as a share that's like publicly accessible. So I figured out I could just copy files on there, and and then I would use like some Visual Basic stuff to remote and like run a command on another computer. So I would turn off a monitor, or I would like turn the volume way up and play a stupid song, stupid idiot kid stuff, not clearly black hat or gray hat stuff, but that's the cheesy stuff that I did. And I
Did you
told
get in
the
trouble?
no, I told the IT, like the administrator, and he's like, yeah, we know the shares are all open, and we need them for printers or something. I don't know what he said. It was just stupid kid stuff, but I tried. I tested to see if the public library in my town had like SQL injection in their the catalog of books that they had, and I thought like, oh, I could get all the books returned to me or something stupid. Uh, and I told them that, and I don't think anything ever came of it. But that's what the cheesy, stupid childhood stories of me poking at things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Chrome or Firefox?
Chrome.
Yeah.
What are you using? Are you
Uh,
also on a Chrome
I
side or
have
are you on the
both
Firefox?
Chrome and Firefox
Yeah, sure.
installed, and I use
But
whatever one works. Like sometimes
which
something won't do what the other thing will at a random time.
which one are you inclined more to open?
um, More inclined to open Chrome, but because it's so handy and synchronizing all my Google things and everything that I do for like my actual life, sometimes I'll have something show up when I'm recording that I don't want visible on a screen.
Yeah.
So I use Firefox or when I'm trying to do stuff on YouTube because I like,
Yeah.
okay, don't save anything. Like I don't want any
Yeah.
auto recommendations and crap like that in the URL. Victor,
Yeah,
thank you
that's
so much.
also. Oh, we.
Thanks, Victor. You're the man.
Yeah, that's why I usually use the incognito window in my videos, just so it doesn't show up. What was the next one? What is the most? Oh, we.
Covered that one a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Simply looking up write-ups the best way to learn. I think it's a combination of like you trying it yourself and then looking at the write-up afterwards. So then you have a good idea about the challenge and you understand where you got stuck, and then you read the write-up and you can learn why you got stuck. But maybe yeah. In general, reading write-ups goes quick. Like on your way to work or to school, you scroll through Twitter, somebody's posting a write-up, and it takes like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to read over this write-up really quick. I think that's already
Yeah.
a small learning
Even if you
experience.
just pick up a tool that they used or a technique or some silly syntax, like that's awesome.
Yeah, or
I've
just having seen it, like,
mhm,
oh, he did a write-up on I don't know, MySQL or something, and then you uh, have a challenge where this pops up again, and then you have seen it before, and then you
mhm,
can look it up and look. Yeah,
that's awesome. I've heard you say before that it's important to like do the write up to like literally side by side either grab the file, grab the binary, and walk through everything that they do. And obviously that's the real how you retain
yeah,
everything. So
yeah. That is the real hands-on kind of thing. I mean, I don't do this all the time, but sometimes if there was like especially a challenge. Um, that I'm very very interested in, then I and you can replicate it because this thing is
Hmm.
still available. Then it's cool if you can actually like reproduce yourself. It's
Yeah.
obviously much better if you can reproduce it. Mm.
How often do you interact with network devices? Meh.
As a security concern, well, I like I said, I do mostly code audits and web application security. So I have not really a lot of knowledge about like a regular network, internal network, and what kind of devices are on there, and scanning that, and you know, that also lacks with my Windows knowledge, because in that kind of work you would have to know a lot of Windows stuff, because there might be a lot of Windows servers and AD and whatever on there. So yeah, so
Yeah.
because I do mostly like application, like I do mostly application security. Generally, I say I do like application security, not really pen testing.
Cool.
What is your daily schedule? Do you have a schedule?
I don't right now because I'm stuck with cabin fever, waiting to get to a real job.
Oh damn.
So I stay up late and try to wake up early to do more things. But I would like to be able to go to bed at 11 or 12 each night and then wake up at 6 or 7, preferably earlier so I could actually work out and do those other life things. But
That's yeah. I have a terrible schedule. It's awful, and yeah, it's. I tried to. That's my entire struggle. 2018 was trying to get into schedule, and then I succeed with 3 days, and then I screw it up again.
I'm glad
So
that we're telling people like, yeah, we're human, you know.
yeah,
It's real.
yeah, and it's so the problem is also I really love working through the night. Like
Yeah.
I love it so much. Like everything is dark, no noises. It's not like the noise annoys me, but it's just like the the city is quiet. It's solitude. It's just like tunnel. Um, Everybody is asleep. It's also just like kind of as like the atmosphere itself is kind of like and I forget the world around me. Like nothing works at that time. No post will ring. Uh, you Everything is closed. It's just like the world is just dark, and you just sit in your room and you do something. Just love that so much to work, and that is in conflict with a sleep schedule. Uh,
Yeah, I
because
get
when I'm
that.
really excited about something, I just enjoy working through the night, and then I go to bed when the sun goes up, and then everything is screwed up again. But the days where I do manage to get to bed early and wake up early, those are the most productive days. So that's like the struggle. I enjoy the nights, but then everything is screwed up.
Yeah.
And the days where I actually am able to get up, I'm actually productive. So it's like really annoying.
I want to do more of those like late nights, burning the midnight oil things, but I fall victim to sleep way too often.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Well, one big problem is also that I keep drinking cola all the time.
Are you okay? Yeah, are you big soda or coffee guy or
No coffee, but terrible with cola. It's a problem.
I'm not a
Yeah.
big coffee guy. Um, I would do Monster as a gross energy drink. Um,
Do you know? Are you aware of Club Mate?
nope, I don't know that one.
Okay, so let me educate you on some
Yeah,
German hacker culture.
excellent.
Uh, so if you pull up the Club Mate Wikipedia article, you don't have to do it now, but just saying that there's actually a section on explaining like the German hacker culture. So that
Nice.
kind of drink became famous in the CCC environment, the German
Chaos.
hacking
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
The Congress, so the 35C3, for example, they always had like this kind of drink, and you only could kind of get it in Germany, and you kind of only could get it, during that time. Now, over the years, it became very popular and kind of a hipster drink in Berlin. So now you can get it basically everywhere in Germany, and it's like a standard Berlin drink as well. So it's like very common now. But yeah, it has its origination in the German hacking scene, and it's you can still basically find it in every hacker space in Germany, and yeah, and yeah, for example, like if you look at the history there, um, like I just look at the Wikipedia there, the hacker culture, you see there the headline, it has its own thing. Yeah, so yeah.
Cool.
And then they have chunk. I saw it mentioned somewhere as well. Like chunk is an alcoholic drink that you mix that cocktail to the right there, um, which is just like, what is it called? It's a regular drink. You just replace it with mate, and yeah, that's a very, and it's so what it is. It's like mate tea, like that plant mate. It's like a form of tea, and but as a sweet drink with like uh, it's a lot of caffeine and a lot of CO like gas,
Cool.
and so yeah,
I gotta try
and
it.
it's like it tastes weird. Their big like the advertisement slogan was or something like you get used to it. It's like one of the things that the first bottle tastes weird, the
It's bad
second
at
bottle is
first.
okay, and with the third bottle you are hooked on it, and you can only work and you are only productive when you drink this
That's
kind
hilarious.
of
I gotta
thing.
try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you get to try this at some point. It's like
Send
important.
some over to me, buddy.
Yeah, we can try to ship this. I hope that it's glass bottles. It's a bit difficult, but we can try to pad it very
That'd be
well.
cool. Yeah. Will you ever
So
do a would you two do a type racer?
that's a typing thing, right?
Yeah, like see how fast both of us can type. That'd be fun
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can try that at
at
some
some
point.
point.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I've never done it actually. No clue how fast it is. Are you? Do you use all your 10 fingers? Are you
No,
thing typer?
no. I henpeck. I
What's that?
keep like so my left hand on just by the shift and like completely resting on my because I use a laptop, so I rest it there,
Hmm.
and I will be able to use that to hit shift and then get like the maybe the three characters in the keyboard, and then I just fly around with my other hand. It's stupid,
Ah,
but it's
that's
fast.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I also don't have a 10 finger system. I have like a weird kind of 6 or 9 finger system or something like this.
Huh.
And like it doesn't follow like how you like learn it. It's just like I started this and then at some point it became like this. And at some point it became like a shift with the pinky. And at some point you got like this other finger to it. And now it's like somewhat of a system. But I'm not sure if I use all. Actually, it would be interesting to analyze if I use all fingers. I feel like I mostly use like these three, but I'm not sure.
That'd be cool. We should try at some point. What else?
Is it hard for you to control yourself and not look at solutions or write up during a CTF or war game? Is it for you?
It
Uh,
is for me because when I have two splits in my mind. It's like I want to learn. I'm trying to improve myself. It doesn't matter if I can go to something just to get a hint, just so I'm not banging my head against the wall for so long. And another half of me is like, no, I want the challenge. I want the agony and the complete suffering when I'm banging my head against the wall. So I go back and forth. It's a big thing on Hack the Box because Hack the Box has active machines or challenges
mm,
that you can do that are will get you scores and score points, and then they have retired machines that have gone out of the running for to getting you score and points. So they always have forums or like just where people can comment and whine and stuff like that about how they're struggling or what they need help on, and they do a very good job. Like the moderators do an exceptional job of keeping hints out of there and spoilers out of there, but sometimes the occasional slight nudge or pointer will be in there, and I'm like, I don't always yell at myself for taking a look at that sometimes, because if there's any at least point in the right direction, I appreciate that, you know. What about you?
um, uh, um, the, there's the issue that sometimes when you Google, you accidentally go over write
Yeah.
ups. So that's another issue, I guess. But also, uh, I would say I have no problem to generally abstain from it, but when I get really, it depends on the frustration level. When I get really, really frustrated, um, then maybe I just like throw the towel and say, okay, let me peek. And then sometimes I like scroll, like am I on the right track? Scrolling like carefully, am I on the right track? And then sometimes like just try to peek, like what is it general about? And sometimes that's already enough. Like maybe I overlooked something and just saw, oh wait, there was this endpoint I completely missed.
Hmm.
Okay, let me check that out again. And I think that's totally fine because there's value in spending hundreds of hours down a rabbit hole and spinning in circles, and like researching stuff. But once you start spinning in circles and you actually don't have this research experience anymore, and you just redo the same stuff hoping for a different output, which happens a lot to me, those are the times where then checking the solution is actually way more beneficial to you and to your time and to your sanity, if you then look it up, I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. What else we got?
I lost the height. Where was it? Oh, how many of you are in university age or older? I mean, how many of us are there?
There's you and I.
I think I think maybe that was a question to your thing. But hey, maybe do you have your like analytics? I was curious.
Oh,
What is like your
demographics?
age range? Like yeah, the
Yeah,
demographics.
let me
Because
pull
I
it up.
guess he was. I think the person was asking generally like the people that are watching right now. So maybe we can just tell
Oh,
them
yeah,
our
true. Maybe he's not referring to you and
the
I don't know.
yeah. So my age range of people watching is uh where's the percentage? 38% between 18 and 24, and then 36% between 25 and 34. So 80% of my audience is between 18 and 34.
What was that percentage?
About 70, yeah, I guess 75% is between 18 and 34.
Okay.
Those are my big,
Yeah.
those are the big chunks.
Yeah.
I would expect kind of similar.
Can I show the screen without leaking anything that's totally bad?
Take a screenshot first in Paint.
I don't think there's anything in this that's horrific. I can just say it. Yeah, 18 to 24 years, my audience is 45%. 25 to 34 years old, the audience is 38%. So I think I just reached like 80 or above. That's in that 18 to 34 range.
Yeah, even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good split. Like, that means like those are the people that actively are like learning, and
Yeah.
people that have already, like, they are a decade
In the
already kind of
scene.
in the job. So that's, I think, great.
Yeah.
That's answers the age range. I don't know what the education those people have.
I don't
Do
know
you know much?
much about PC hardware.
Yeah, I have no clue. Like, I buy a Mac because I have no clue.
You're a Mac guy? I didn't know that.
Yeah, most of my videos I show.
Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
I well, it's a mix. I play CTF on my Mac, and a lot of recordings are on Mac. But when I, for example, show like a browser window, I usually record that on my editing machine, which is a Windows. And a lot of challenges, I play them on the Mac, but I'm often SSH'd into a Linux server, so the terminal will still like look like a Linux machine. So it's all over the place. But
I see some threatening unsubscribe messages now that you mentioned you run Mac.
you can't have subscribed. You can't have been subscribed for long if you don't know that I'm using Mac.
Yeah, it's
There's a
true.
lot of Mac in my videos. I think, I don't know. Maybe it's not visible actually. I don't know.
Google or DuckDuckGo for your search engine?
Google.
Totally Google. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah. Damn convenience.
Do you care about online privacy and cookie or pixel tracking sense? Online privacy.
Yeah. Like, privacy is such a difficult topic for me because yes, I do care. I want regulations. I in principle I like what the what GDPR did. Um, I want more of that. I want laws against like abusing of data. I like that uh, Google and Facebook is challenged in U.S. courts or in the U.S. Hearings and all that stuff. It's very important to me. But like on my personal level, then again, like I don't care.
Yeah.
like, I mean, I run an ad blocker kind of, but I don't know. I want this battle to be won. Like, I don't think like with I if I censor my like it's a lot about like how I want to live my life. I don't want to like self censor myself, and I don't want to like have to think about these things. These should just be default fine. They should be default privacy, right? And I don't change this if I just act on it myself. It's a problem for me that determines the whole society, and these things have to be solved on like the regulation and government level, because like, yeah, that's kind of my view on it. And that's clashing a lot with German hacking culture, because the German hacking culture with the CCC is very strong in privacy, which I'm very glad for, because they are really like pushing and uh, want change and advocating a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have a. It's interesting for me because I've been in that government and military spot
Mm.
um, with some of the internship and work that I've done.
Oh, I would love to hear about stuff like that, but I'm not sure how much you can
Yeah, it's funny because that you
share.
get to the portion of me that I can't talk about all of it,
Yeah.
which is cool, and I think I'm happy that it's funny. I'm happy that there is a part of me that is that I can't talk about, because I feel like, okay, that's a milestone, that's a portion of success, but also a constraint where there is a hole in my mind that can't be shared with other people. Um, I think it is obviously very important to be secure in what you own in your personal property and privacy. And I think when people say, "Oh, I have nothing to hide. I don't care what people know about me. I don't," and I see portions of that because, yeah, I broadcast to the world that my name is John Hammond. This is my face. This is what I do. I type on keyboards and break stuff. And I wear that because I'd like to do that because I'm proud of it, and it's like a badge. I want to promote that. But for stuff that I don't want other people prying into, or other people to see, and the privacy does matter to me, obviously I'll cherry pick what I want to show and what I don't. So therefore, I think I have to say privacy is needed and important. So
Yeah.
personal opinion, right? I'm just a friggin' dude.
Yeah. Yeah. What is important to me is like, I'm not like, when I say like I don't care about it, I don't mean with that like the stereotypical thing of let them do that because I have nothing to hide. That's not my thing. Like, I think privacy is very, very important, but I don't think that I can do stuff to protect my own privacy, but there's so much that is still happening, right? I, like you say, I still choose to put my face out there,
Hmm.
and I want to have laws that, even though if I have a Facebook profile, that makes sure that this data is not being sold or it's not being abused in a certain way. And I want the general person to be able to go online and expect a certain level of privacy. And that is very important to me. That's why I think it's great what the CCC does. And it's great that there are government regulations and stuff like this. It's just like, for myself, I don't want it to impact my life a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it a lot. I don't want to self-censor myself and feel like anxiety with everything I do online. I just want to live my life and chill, right? And I wish that the default for everybody, so that nobody has to care about it because it's default privacy. That's kind of my thing. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you have animals, pets or
Um,
something?
it's funny. My mom and my parents, I kind of grew up in a household where she loves animals, and it's like living in a barn. Way too many animals.
Yeah. So
So
so now you are the reverse. Just please no
yeah,
animals
please no
anymore.
more. Uh, I had a dog. His name was Troy, and he's back in my home. But
Mm.
in the new house that I'm living in now with my roommates, Julian has a fish over there, which I guess I can move the camera if people really want to see. But my room. The room's a mess. Yeah, is your dog with you? Can you bring him on?
Yeah, he's in the other room. I could carry him over, but it would take a minute.
No, yeah.
There are. I can share a picture. I can share a picture. You can put it up or something. So yeah, we have a dog. It's not my dog. It's the dog of my girlfriend. Obviously, he's living. I'm living with him. It's kind of like our dog, but officially her dog.
I have
Uh,
people asking for the fish, so I'm just gonna swing it real by. Oh, I don't know how well you can see him over there, but he's doing his thing, being a
oh, he's
fish.
swimming.
Doing what fish do. I think we had a fish cam for one of our earlier streams, and we were just goofing off.
Oh, yeah, why don't you have that anymore? So when I stream on Twitch, I have like the second camera in case the dog joins me. I have a dog cam.
That's funny.
Okay, so I have a problem that these images here are kind of crappily embedded in this
I
website.
tried to show my ceiling so you don't see how dirty the room is.
Yeah, like I also have like just here a cone that's going out from the camera of here's kind of clean, and
Yeah,
here
yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay. Wait, here is one picture.
That fish looks suspiciously like a ceiling. Just bring him over.
Okay, and I sent you a second picture. Yeah, and the breed of the dog, we have no clue. It's a street dog. No clue what's in that thing. And his name is Frito, named after the most amazing American snack, Fritos. Fritos
Nice.
flavor, Fritos flavor twists,
You're
honey
right.
barbecue.
Alright. I'll switch to the Discord now. I think that's fine. Wow, this picture's funny. He's good and spastic.
Yeah.
Very cute. Very cute.
Yeah, it's a very pretty dog.
My girlfriend and I want to get a Shiba Inu, like the Doge meme.
Mm. I also thought about that. Yeah. Can you ban all these cat people? Just kidding.
Send out the ban hammer. What do you suggest to someone who wants to be a pen tester or a pen test job?
Um, I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
I hate giving advice to people because I hate advice, and
Yeah,
I think giving advice means that I'm telling you how you should live your
yeah,
life so you can be more like me. But that's not what I think you should do. I think you should yeah, you especially when I talk with people that are older than me and people say, "Oh, find a mentor" and stuff like that, or there are people that will straight up offer you advice or tell you how they want to live their life. And this is me ranting. I'm sorry. This is totally not the question.
no, I fully agree with you.
But when people will just tell you without even being asked their advice and their opinions, sometimes you're just like, I don't want to be like you. I don't care. And maybe if you are totally into this and you want to just look up stuff to learn, that's what I can tell you to do. But I can't give you a straight path A to B, and I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to. I don't think that would be good for you. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's another thing that I'm very uncomfortable with, like this whole YouTube thing and the streaming and being now like starting to be like a nickname and personality in that
mm,
space. People ask you questions, and ideally, I don't want to answer anything because it doesn't matter what I have to say. It's like so like I'm 28, like I have no life experience. I don't know, like I know one path that I took, and that path is full of luck and opportunities I would have never planned for and stuff like this.
yeah,
Like it's unapplicable to anybody what I did. It doesn't matter at all. Like I can give some certain advice maybe with like CTFs or like a tip here and there, and in general, I hate to answer any question. And then again, people want that. And if I were in their position and I would see somebody like making these videos, I would also love them to give me some advice. And then still like answer and try to answer, but it's making me
yeah,
so uncomfortable.
yeah,
Like, and the worst thing is that I constantly change my opinion as well. Like, if you had asked me about certain things we talked about a year ago, I would have given you different answers, and I will give you different answers a year on from now. And that is bothering the most part because these things are now set in stone. Like, Live Overflow said this and that, and in 3 years, people will still have that in mind that I raised an opinion about privacy, and that
mm,
might have changed. You know, like that is like
That's a
my
very good
biggest
point.
fear with kind of like putting myself out like this,
Yeah,
that people get a perception of me, but I'm constantly changing. I'm such a different person from 3 years ago. Yeah.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
very cool. I like that we're putting the disclaimer here because don't get me
Mhm.
wrong in that like I'll give you advice, I'll tell you stuff that you're asking for, but when you look behind the curtain or when you peek here, whatever fourth wall that is John Hammond or maybe Live Overflow, it's like disclaimer, take it with a grain of salt. Your mileage may vary, whatever.
Yeah. For one person, it's awesome to quit university. It's the best decision. For the other person, it's the worst decision. Countries are different, cultures are different, your friends are different, your environment is different, your financial situation, your privilege is different. Like I'm speaking I look so German. I have a very German sounding real name. Uh, I have parents that can financially support me. Like I'm like in the most privileged position you could imagine ever. And so like who the fuck am I? I'm sorry.
You're good, man.
To give uh, to give anybody some advice who is like struggling with learning something. It's I re- yeah. Thanks for letting me speak there, because it's so, every video I do where I'm more opinionated, like my videos on like uh don't waste your time playing games,
Hmm.
or uh the secret step-by-step guide to learn hacking or something. Just like I want to give the disclaimer that my opinions and things constantly change as well as with new information and experience I get. And yeah, and hey, you got another super
Sock
chat.
it. Thank you so much,
Congrats.
brother. You're incredible, man. Thanks, sir.
And that's one of these currencies that I don't recognize. What's that?
I don't either.
Indian rupee.
Um, just tailing what you had said. Yeah, what I'm finding, and it's really kind of cool and fun to unravel, at least especially in streams, is that I, like you said, thanks for letting us talk and letting us vent and just being real and very genuine, because it's a lot of times when you prepare a video, it's like a packaged thing. Like this is the formulation and the cookie cutter stamp that I'm going to carve around the edges and prepare as a package and deliver to you. But I like, and I think it seems from what I hear in the engagement in the community is that they like that it is real and genuine, and like when you fell out of the stream a little bit ago, it's fun, it's cool, it's human. So
Yeah,
we don't have too many questions left, do we? At least in this pile, which is probably a good thing because we're rolling long.
yeah. How much time do you spend CTF in CTF Weekly? Yeah. So actually, for me, I have not played a lot of CTFs in like the last year or so.
Yeah.
Like in 2018, I played the at the end now the C3 CTF. I played Real World CTF. I played the DEF CON qualification and then the DEF CON CTF finals. And then we played, that Google CTF,
Hmm.
like one day or one evening or how much that was. And then maybe one or two like other attempts or so throughout the year, but like basically nothing. So every like maybe 6 things in that year. So every second month, I looked at one. So actually, I haven't gotten. For some reason, I don't find the time anymore, and that's really bothering me. Actually, like that's like one of the things I don't find the time, and it's really bothering me.
Yeah, I need to get
Uh,
better at kind of sucking it up and hitting the hard stuff, because I'll look at CTF time and either there won't be many games going on, or it'll be like, oh, this is
yeah,
Insomniac coming
there's
up. It's
yeah,
like, wow, this
there
is
are a
going to
lot
be
of
a friggin' wall for me, or Codegate or anything that's huge. And like, I need to just plug into it and try it. I think that'd be. So I don't spend a whole lot of CTF lately because there's not a whole lot going on CTF time. But I'm always monitoring. A lot of people are asking about subreddits, so I will partially answer that in that I lurk on security CTF and I lurk on NetSec, um, because sometimes there are games in there are competitions that just pop up, and those are fun to deal with because normally they're not incredibly hard or unbearably difficult. Um, but war games are fun because then I can bring that to you and the people, and I can share videos. Like an active CTF, I can't always, but sometimes I can use a CTF as a vehicle to produce other videos, which is good. but only if it's something that everyone seems to be able to reach in difficulty and stuff. So I've been making things more lately. I haven't been CTF, so I've just been creating and making. So
Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
IPSEC, thank you so much, brother. Hey, we gotta hang out sometime. We gotta get a beer one more time. We could stream or do something cheesy. Thanks, brother.
well, that's a dollar amount right there.
Yeah, that's something that I can actually. That's real. That's real currency. That's for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ip. Appreciate you. What do you commonly do to find vulnerabilities? Fuzz.
I mean, so for like my real life work, I can just say from experience that when you just sit down and you are forced to look at a certain product for extended period of time, and you try to figure out if there are issues in there,
Oh
you
goodness, I'm
will
sorry.
typically.
I don't mean to cut you off, but IPSEC was like not going to answer the question. My favorite 2018 memory.
Oh, I also fully
I
didn't
totally
catch the
didn't even see
message.
it. It looked
The,
like
the big dollar sign was just was blinding me.
it
Yeah.
totally looked like favorite 2018 money and an exclamation point.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite 2018 memory was totally going to hang out at Sands with you, IPSEC, over climbing into Net Wars. No, 2018 was kind of a crap year for me, not gonna lie.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry.
finding this new uh, transition, right? Getting kind of the new job that's coming together and lining up with, and moving here now to Virginia and DC with a couple of the guys that are still doing nerdy cyber stuff is very cool. So in a bittersweet way, totally that change and shift in my life. Maybe I don't know about a specific memory though. No, but what about you? Got anything?
Mm, I actually find myself to think a lot about the real world city. Like that just like was so unexpected, like what I experienced there. And it was so much fun to travel like with my teammates that I've actually like partially met for the first time then. And it was just like such an unexpected experience, and that's why it like burned kind of in my head. Yeah.
I'm
So I
very
keep
jealous, man. Not
thinking,
gonna lie. That sounds
yeah,
awesome.
that was crazy. That and then also, like no, I think that's like the memory that just keeps popping in my head, like just thinking of walking into that room and not expecting that thing, like that just burned. Like we were freaking out when we were like walking into that and stuff. That was just, I guess, my favorite.
That's so cool. I didn't mean to stomp on our what do you do for fuzzing? Where were you at? Do you remember?
For fuzzing.
Oh, I'm sorry
For
for
finding
finding
vulnerabilities.
vulnerabilities. Yeah.
I think the main thing is, and that every research I guess would just say you this, that you just have to spend time on it, like a CTF challenge.
Hmm.
If you take one product or one website and you just spend like a lot of time, just like your goal is not to find your first goal is not to really find the vulnerability. Your first goal is to get like good overview of everything, like of the functionality and how it's implemented and all that stuff, and then maybe along that way you already find vulnerabilities. And I really, really liked. I had a tweet on Twitter where I was sharing the talk from Ned not
Oh,
Ned
yeah.
Williams,
Net
Ned
William. I remember.
Williamson or something.
I saw
I
you share
forgot
it on
the
Twitter.
yeah, Ned. He gave a talk, and in his first part, he gives like some general advice, and here like he mentioned again like this quote that you need like 10,000 hours to master something, and he just like sat down and wanted to understand of wanted to find the vulnerability in Chrome's IPC mechanism, inter-process communication stuff, and so he just sat down and spent like hundreds and hundreds of hours just looking and understanding of it, and it took him months. In the end, he found vulnerability in it. And so um, with anything, the problem is you feel like overwhelmed because the world is so big. There are so many things you could look at. But if you actually like be able to take one product and you look at this in isolation, and for me as a job, it's obviously simple because the client gives you this thing and you have this time period that you will only look at that product, and you are forced to look at this. And um, yeah, obviously you need to have a good understanding of what kind of, like, what is a vulnerability. Like, I think that's not a simple question actually to answer, and then you need to be able to understand the technology of that product well enough, or you need to learn it then to be able to figure out what are vulnerabilities on that,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But yeah, I think for me, like, how it feels like, it's, I don't feel it's different from a CTF challenge, from a hard CTF challenge where you get that one thing. The difference is just that you actually know in the CTF challenge there is a thing to
Something's
solve it.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, something is wrong, and you still fail. So yeah, that's a fun thing.
Yeah, I spit out fuzz at like fuzzing things and throwing garbage input as an answer because it's pretty easy, low hanging fruit, right? Like if something hits and something spits up, then it's awesome. Yeah, maybe you found something, but your answer is definitely much more in depth. Like it's important to understand the whole program and application. If you can do what you can to reverse engineer it or just figure out, understand how it works and why it works that way, that's where you're really gonna find something that's wrong.
Yep, yep. It's like the, like I mentioned it multiple times on a channel and stuff before. That there's no secret to this stuff. Like, there's no magic to all of this topic. It's just time. If you put in, like, and as a young person, I remember, like, you kind of think like of, the time you spent in school. So like a week feels long,
Hmm.
and a day might even feel still long, and a couple of hours in the afternoon feel long, but actually that is not long, right? Like, I'm now thinking in the perspectives of years. Like, I'm thinking of, I have now the
Wow,
next year I want to learn something about,
that's crazy
and
cool.
there will be, like, I will spend on certain topics dozens of hours, on others hundreds of hours, and in accumulation I will have spent thousands of hours on these things. And there's no magic to it. It just means, you need to put the time in. And I know as a young person you might have this pressure
Yeah.
that you need to learn now quickly because you need this stuff, and I know that sucks. I've been there as well. Uh, um, but maybe you can take away some of that pressure as knowing that everybody has to go through this, and it sucks if you need have like a deadline. Your college ends and you need then to find a job and stuff. And I know it sucks. I don't have an answer for that, but just make be clear that these things, you don't just start learning and a month later you can do them. It's like you start now, and a year later you learn something, and then 5 years later. And I'm approaching, I guess, almost a decade now soon. Like, if I think, like, the very earliest things I've done are now a decade. Just think about this, like 10 years or
Yeah.
8 years of experience.
Wow.
Like, I don't want that anybody surprised. Like, you should even question, like, don't can't have why haven't you learned more in these 10 years? That's more like my thinking kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a
And I
fascinating
understand
viewpoint.
if somebody's 18. If you think about a time frame of 5 years, you have been 13. Of course, between 13 and 18, you're not gonna learn all that stuff. And
Yeah.
from 18 to 22, you won't learn that stuff. But from 18 to 28, you will most definitely be able to learn that stuff. And now I'm 28. Like, yeah, there's just so many hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. I've never heard someone kind of say it like that though. Like when you're stuck in the rut of maybe like when you were at school or whatever rat race where you felt like an hour is a long time or you felt like a day is a long time. That's awesome. I've never kind of heard of that before. Thinking of it like yeah, it's totally not. You just need to get out of that school or
yeah.
work mentality. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm saying it because I do remember my frustration. Or I think, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's a false memory or something, but I feel like I remember that I was very frustrated with wanting to learn faster. And I feel like the lessons I've drawn, like, now looking back, is I couldn't have been faster. There wasn't like a shortcut or anything. It was just, I just literally had to stop whining about that stuff and just like sit down and play the CTF challenges. And that's what's actually now
Yeah.
brought me to the point where I'm now.
Hmm.
And that's also how I look forward. There are a lot of things I still want to learn and don't know yet. And I know, like, if I want to learn Windows, I'm not frustrated about it. I just know, okay, maybe there's a year where I should focus more on Windows, and then I can learn it as well. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think one question was, what are your New Year's resolutions and I guess goals for 2019?
Hmm. Um, yeah, I try to work less. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Enjoy
my my
life.
my my big goal is actually to finish my master's degree,
Nice. Excellent.
but that requires a lot of time, and I worry that, or what means worry? That means I need to work less and I need to invest less time in LiveOverflow. And that's a very hard choice to make,
Yeah.
to balance and stuff, because both these things are very joyful for me.
Hmm.
But because I'm just like at the end of my degree, it's stupid to not finish it. So I just kind of like force myself to it. And that's my big goal. And everybody has to shame me at the end of the year if I at least am not in the middle of it. I'm not sure if I will finish it this
Yeah.
year, but I should have started it, or I will drop out. And those are the two options.
I would like maybe a silver play button, 100K. That'd be cool. On the YouTube front, at least, getting started with a new job and getting around Virginia and DC, where I'm living now. My girlfriend will be coming down to this area about halfway through the year, once she moves, and I'd love to get kind of closer with her. Um, I never set any resolutions because they're cheesy things like, oh, don't swear or work out every day or do yoga, and yeah.
Are you aware of the concept of a theme for the year, not a New Year's resolution, like
Oh,
not a goal, but
no.
like you set yourself a theme. So you say like my theme. I have this like I listen to a podcast called Hello Internet with CGP Grey
Cool.
and uh, now the other host has kind of a similar name to yours. Only your name pops in my head right now, but the other host, Brady Heron.
Ah,
I don't know why this reminds me of John
that
Hammond,
sounds
but
exactly
whatever.
like John Hammond.
Yeah, yeah, it's not Hammond, it's Heron
Yeah,
or
I'm
something.
kidding.
But sounds similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so they like talk about kind of like themes. So like the theme of order, or um, the theme of like less travel or something like this. Like just like a general theme, and it's like you try to bring things. The year of adulting. Take care of all your adult crap that you need to take care of now that you are being an adult. Make some big adult things like
Yeah,
getting a house or something like that.
yeah. That's a big thing too. Do
Yeah.
you feel like when did you feel like you became an adult, or do you still feel like you're not?
I so don't feel like an adult. It's
Yeah,
like really annoying me, especially because now I'm like really an adult, like 28. Like in society, I don't go as a child anymore,
yeah,
but I feel so not like an adult. It's like, oh, it's really, and so many responsibilities and things on your shoulder. Oh gosh, I hate it.
yeah. What OS do
Yeah,
you use? On a completely unrelated note.
yeah. I mean, we kind of talked about it. I use any OS that is necessary. For me, it's like a tool. Some CTF challenges require a Linux environment.
Yeah,
Some CTF challenges
yeah.
can I do on Mac. I do a lot of editing and streaming on my Windows machine because there's a good graphics card in it.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I actually like the workflow on Windows for that kind of stuff for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a big like
Yeah.
following.
I just use Ubuntu on my laptop. And originally I
Yeah.
wanted, when I got this new laptop, because I bought the Dell XPS 15 that I wanted for a bit, and I wanted to keep Windows on it and use like the Windows subsystem for Linux and just like strictly try and use Linux that way. But then my roommates kind of talked me out of it. That said, like, you would literally handicap yourself for everything that you do except because I want to be like, oh, I'll use Windows to stream and use OBS things with the subscriber notifications and the super chat and all the some silly things, and like maybe video editing and image editing would be better, and I guess it would because I could run like Adobe stuff or Photoshop stuff, but he said like you would everything that you do programming wise or actually command line or anything else cybersecurity wise, you'd literally be shooting yourself in the foot. So just put Linux on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Yeah.
Yeah, I have no clue. Like it's so fascinating for me. Like Windows used to always be kind of the stereotype. If you do hacking, you have to go like Linux, right?
Right.
Maybe a Mac or something. Uh, and then you watch like Gunvale, who is like
Who's on Windows?
in the most successful CTF team player, and is crazy experienced, has decades of experience, knowledge, and like incredibly skilled person is working on Windows.
Yeah.
And that I always like to use it as an example with stop this nonsense of, like operating systems kind of shaming and whatever. Because like there are crazy game hackers that are on Windows because obviously those games are on Windows and they are crazy and skilled and they can work on Windows as well. You can be professional on any of these OSs.
Yeah. We run out of questions, hopefully. That's a long list.
What?
I can't tell. The one that I sent you, is there any more questions or?
No, the last one was which OS do you use?
Okay, cool. Cool. Should we wrap this up? This is fun.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
2 hours and 40 minutes in, so
sounds good.
this
Let's
is
rather save questions for maybe a second or
that'd be
so.
cool. Yeah, if you're ever willing to kind of do this thing again, it'd be great.
Sure.
I don't know if there are people in the chat that are gonna be like, no, I need more. But
Yeah.
you're gonna go jam on. Are you gonna keep working with your website stuff or?
Yeah, okay, so maybe I can like mention it really quick. So I will probably take a quick break right now, maybe eat some dinner or so.
Can I
And
show those
then,
screenshots? Is that cool?
yeah, you can quickly throw it up if you want to.
Bro.
And then I have been streaming a little bit on Twitch recently. Nothing really security related, web development actually. And this website is related to the YouTube stuff. John is throwing up some screenshots here. So like this is kind of like a supposed to be a website where you can discover this like my videos and other creators' videos about certain topics. So yeah, that's just like the landing page, how it currently looks like, and you can click on different categories and then find videos in these categories. And yeah, I'm developing that over on Twitch slowly. I started end of last year and then had like a 2 month break. And so now I'm trying to continuing this. There's no schedule. It's just like whenever I have time, I might stream there. It's very chill, low key, and you see me failing basic web development, and you can look at me cursing at CSS and HTML and stuff like that.
Oh, hey, one of
Yeah.
my
So what
things
do
is
you?
in here. Nice, thanks.
Yeah, I had to test with a different creator because this website is like, is a big thing is for my videos, right?
Yeah.
But in general, I wanted it to be a platform about quality educational video content. And there are many videos where I'm very biased, obviously, where I consider mine to it. And then of course there are other creators that have quality content, and so I want to like curate and hand select like good videos. That's the idea of the site. It's not like automatically crawling my channel or John's channel. It's just like if there's a video that's very well educational, it shall be added to this site. And I'm building that right now. And what you're seeing right now is just like work in progress. The state of just before this call, I've just taken a couple of screenshots. You see like all the pictures and stuff are missing. But that's a general idea. Yeah, so you can join me on Twitch LiveOverflow soon later when I stream for a bit longer if you want to.
Awesome.
You
Well, cool, man. Thanks again for doing it. I'm sure there are still people in the chat that are like, man, I want to ask more questions. So if you're ever willing to do this again, we'll hang out,
sure thing.
jam.
Yeah, cool. Like happy that and yeah.
How do you end a stream? It's always so uncomfortable.
I say bye and then I click on end.
See you later, everybody.
Yeah, bye bye.
Cool.
And then
That was a blast.